Hey, okay, let's see. Unmute that. Chats. Oh shit, this video is playing. I didn't want it to play. Scooch that back. Neat. Okay. Let me check the sounds.
The feeling I'm getting. So
Cool. Everything is working just fine. Give me one sec. I'm gonna say something on Twitter about it. All right. I think this goes here. I'm just organizing my windows and then I'll start after we get some people in here. I think probably when I switch to go to another video, I'm going to take a minute or two to talk about competitive checkers because I don't understand. I have a big gripe with the fact that that even exists. The fact that we have world championships for it. It's a solved game. It doesn't make any fucking sense. Like, I feel like I could spend a day or two reading and practicing and be just as good as the best in the world. It's a solved game. There's very limited numbers of moves. So I'm going to go over that a little bit. We have more people here later. Okay.
you're making me very uncomfortable.
There's one more thing. Give me 1 minute.
Uncomfortable right now that you're not answering this.
Okay,
That's just the feeling I'm getting. So if you could answer it.
All right, okay.
Go ahead.
I don't remember saying the word abandoned, but I also have not watched that clip at all because, like, I don't want to go, like, it would be really bad for, like, my mental health to, like, go to, like, a subreddit or wherever. So I don't remember saying the word abandoned. I really don't. Maybe I did. I'm not trying to gaslight here. Please understand. I'm being honest.
Of course.
It could be that you were feeling an intense emotion at the time and you just spoke out.
I said that he moved very, very far away.
That is true.
From his son. And then I went on to say about how psychology has, like, the field has a lot of research on, like, how many hours like a week, like, is healthiest for children to, like, be around their fathers and stuff, because, you know, with like divorce and, like, custody case.
On that, I feel like it's nobody who doesn't live with their kid wants to hear that shit. Whether for I guess what I'm trying to say is, like, it doesn't matter if it's because you don't care or if you really do care. No matter what, nobody wants to hear that. if somebody, I would say in that instance, that's only if somebody cares and asks. Yeah, I don't play checkers either. The growling. Oh, it's arachnid. Okay. Uh, I mean, I have played checkers. Played checkers with my grandpa when I was a kid, but um, that's the thing. Who plays checkers? Nobody, because it's fucking boring. It's something you'll play super casually, like when you're a kid, or like maybe like with a grandparent or something, because it's super casual. And like even if you're like a little kid, you can still win because there's so few moves. If somebody makes a mistake, just obvious moves can make you win. So I can't stand the fact that there's competitive checkers. It just doesn't make any sense. How is like every single game in competitive level just not a draw? I'm furious about it.
Pieces and stuff. There's like a lot of research on that. Like children do best when like they're around their fathers, like this many hours a week or whatever. Yeah.
Here's a question. Do you know what else there's a lot of research on?
Lots of things.
There's a lot of research on mothers and fathers that fight around their children. Are you aware of this?
Yeah.
Do you think that it might be possible? I'm not saying that this is the case, but do you think that it might be possible that me and Rachel weren't able to come to a living agreement or a healthy trade-off agreement that didn't involve us fighting around our child?
Wouldn't you then go to college?
Just because I've looked into this quite a bit. The main important factor is that the biological father is in the child's life before the age of 5, and remains in their life to some capacity. This alone gives your kid a huge leg up. That's the most important factor. There's other factors about it that can impact the child's development, but if they don't have that, that is the number one determining factor in. It's the number one correlatory factor in drug addicts.
Like couples therapy to kind of work on that.
Do you think it's possible that she might have turned that down or didn't have the time for it or the desire for it? Or that maybe we have tried that with multiple therapists in the past and it hasn't worked?
Okay.
You don't know any of these things. So why would you comment on them?
I don't know, it looks like Nathan and Rachel can get along.
I guess I'm not sure how that relates.
Because you're making a judgment on your stream, basically saying that I'm a shitty father, but you don't really know the relationships that I
Is
have.
it? Okay, now my button's working. Yeah, he said, I don't know, it looks like Nathan and Rachel can get along. Yeah, unless I see like clear examples of something that's like abuse, I'm pretty uncomfortable talking about somebody's like parenting dynamic. Because there's a lot of things that might look like bad from the outside or just like not great that the parent might have really good reasons for. You don't and I think for the most part I'm pretty okay with people raising their kids however they want. Like don't hit them, you make sure they get fed and all that shit. There's certain like needs and stuff that have to take care of, but otherwise like it's your kid. I don't really give a shit. Oh, thank you. I think that because like if I didn't like if I'd be the worst person ever if I didn't have that philosophy, because I'd be like, really gonna raise your kid with like religion? I think that's probably not good. But like, what the fuck do I care? You're supposed like most people just want to clone of themselves. So that's yeah, you know, if that's what you're gonna end up doing, I might not like you, but you have the right to try to clone yourself, I guess.
Either my kid's mom
No,
or
I
my
don't
kid.
think you're a shitty father at all.
Do you understand that that's essentially what you're saying on stream?
No, that's not. You're twisting it, and that's not fair at all.
I'm
That is
trying not to say
completely-
that word really hard right now, Linus.
Let me see.
Understand that that's essentially what you're saying on stream.
I guess I'm not sure how that relates.
Because you're making a judgment on your stream, basically saying that I'm a shitty father, but you don't really know the relationships that I have, either my kid's mom
No,
or my
I don't
kid.
think you're a shitty father at all.
Do you understand that that's essentially what you're saying on stream?
No, that's not. You're twisting it, and that's not fair at all.
I think Destiny's done like a lot of like twisting of her words, and then when she calls him out on it and pushes back, he like says yeah, and then just sort of like moves past it really quick. But here, I'm totally fine just saying that this is an appropriate emotional reaction from Destiny, and like you really can't say anything about it. If somebody says anything like that to me, that's how I'm gonna feel about it. I've had arguments with my family essentially over like somebody would ask me like, hey, why did you let your kid's mom pick them up for like Easter? That happened before. And I was like, look, I don't really need to explain myself to you. And they'd be like, yeah, that's true. And they come back like, well, you kind of do. Like, people shut up expecting. I was like, no, I fucking don't. All right, it's my kid. And if you're unhappy about it, I get it. I'm sorry that people aren't happy. I'm sorry that people want to see my kid and they don't get to see my kid today. I get it. I like seeing my kid too. However, all you need to know is that I decided that's what was best. And that's just, if you feel weird about it, that's your problem to deal with. I think that if you have kids, you have very much a right to say, I'm not going to make you feel better about my decisions.
That is
Trying not to say
completely
the A word really hard right now, Linus.
Sorry, to further hammer that down, I think that if you are a parent and you do go out of your way to justify your decisions as to why you've done something, I think that's bad for you. I think that it's important for you to feel like you're able to, that you're just allowed to make decisions, that nobody else should be able to have an impact on you like that. You're opening the door for too much if you start.
That's
arguing
like
with
that
people.
is well, because now I'm legitimately wondering if you are unable to understand like how normal human beings use language. So you
just
were
seems
reading a comment in chat.
Any little
What?
critique I have.
What?
It just feels like any little critique I have of your behavior must mean that I think like you're a horrible person or like a horrible dad. Like, no.
No, okay, stop darvoing, okay? You're darvoing right now, okay? You're flipping it around. You're making yourself the victim. I'm the victim here, okay? Yes.
He's being pretty dodgy here, but I'm not. That's purely like observational. I feel like she's asking basically for the wrath of God if you if you say this kind of stuff to anybody about their kids. So, but I don't think that. I think that what Destiny's doing still plays into everything else that he did, but it's really hard for me to say like I don't know. I don't think she's darvoing, but he's gonna feel pretty. It's gonna feel pretty justified if he responds really mean.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Are you really doing that? I'm
No,
not saying-
you're doing it. I'm the victim, okay?
I'm not saying anyone's the victim. I'm not saying I'm a victim. That's not what I said. That's not what I meant to imply.
Okay, well, listen. So this is what you did, okay? You read a quote on stream, and you said, blah, 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 did Destiny abandon Nathan? And then you were like, oh, well, let me just say that moving far away, that's not really good. And the research is a lot to say, and I'm not going to say anything more about that, even though I really want to. That's basically what you said on stream. What do you think the implication is there to everybody listening?
I'm super curious as to what she actually
That you've
said.
made some mistakes? Is it dad?
Take it away, Linus.
Yeah. I
Seriously,
mean,
that's what that says.
No,
Yes.
the takeaway is somebody that has an intimate relationship with me, everybody here knows that we talk to each other, we're fairly close, is literally shit-talking the relationship that I have with my kid. You might have some privy information there. It is. You're just...
She's out of line saying that. All the other stuff, it's whatever. She's out of line there. And you can certainly think that. I think she's fine to talk about it on her stream. But if she gets called out on it, you just have to apologize. Like, and just say, like, my bad. If it makes the other person upset, I feel like you can do all that, but you're gonna get shit on for like you shouldn't. I think it's crazy to act surprised or to be like, well, I don't understand why you're behaving this way or anything like that. I think you just sort of have to accept that you're causing problems when you do it.
wrong, okay? That's how every single person listening will interpret it. And you know me a little bit closer than the average chatter does, so somebody listening to you might actually think, wow, I wonder if Anna heard something or something was revealed to her, and she actually is making that statement, you know, because she talks about her psychology all the time, with some level of authority there. She's got some inside information that, like, definitely demonstrates that Steven is a fucking horrible father. Holy shit. And she even is laughing, saying she wants to say more, but she has to hold back. That's crazy. Any person listening to that exchange will come away thinking, wow, Anna thinks that Steven is making horrible fucking parenting moves.
I don't think that. I don't think that's what she's saying. I think that she's speaking out of lane, basically.
You literally say, I'm going to stop because this is going to get clipped.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
You literally say, I'm going to stop now because this is going to get clipped.
Well, I mean, then good. That's the part that she did that was good then.
No, I didn't say because it was going to get clipped. That was someone else.
I'm
But
pretty
yes,
sure
I
you
did.
said, I'm going to stop now or I'm going to get clipped.
That's my understanding as well from watching it.
I didn't say that. That was someone else that said I'm going to get clipped. No, I said I'm going to stop now. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, because
But I can't remember like
you know,
for
being a
certain.
father,
Thank
the
you.
best thing to do
I don't
is
know.
to move like a million miles
I'm just
away from
I
your
don't
son
I'm I
and
really
seeing
don't
him
remember exactly, but I'm
stop
pretty sure
before someone
that
clips
someone
that
else
shit.
said that.
You're gonna get clipped.
Oh, he's going.
Okay, somebody else said, you're going to get clipped. And then you said, I'm
I think this is pre-August, maybe 3 years ago. Because I feel like if August was doing the channel, we would have seen exactly that clip. If it wasn't pre-August, then she probably didn't say it just like that.
going to stop. My bad.
Yeah.
Do you think that helps you? If you're just so here's the interesting thing, okay? You're not okay, so holy shit. I updated my diagnosis. I'm playing psychologist too now. Hold on. So you're actually not autistic because you actually realize I just had this revelation, okay?
If you think I'm autistic, you can send me tons of articles.
I don't need to. I'm just observing your behavior with other people. So,
Really,
but
she's
I don't think you are because
consistent.
you realize that what you're saying is incredibly hurtful, which is why you stop. That's so you actually did realize that. When somebody said you're going to get clipped, you stopped talking about it because you realized that it was probably a pretty mean and rude thing to say. Otherwise, if you're just making observations, then why did you say it? Why did you argue about it?
I told you why, and I know it was wrong, and I realized
You can say something that's mean and hurtful and still be true. I feel like he's trying to make the claim that what she's saying here isn't true, and if that's what he thinks, then he should just say that. Then I think that the mean and hurtful thing is a weird line for Destiny to take.
that, and I was like, oh fuck, why did I
You
say
should just
that?
say it's
Oh,
not
fuck.
true, and you know it's
That
not
was
true.
Oh, that was a bad
Wait,
thing.
if you know this is bad and it was wrong, then why did we just spend all this time arguing about you not saying anything bad or wrong?
Because I didn't think that it said that you are a horrible father.
What do you
That's
think?
not-
What do you think
Yeah,
it's
there's a difference.
implying?
I think it could be like that's why I realized like, oh, it could be, oh, that probably came off like harsh and probably shouldn't have said that like that. But I don't think that implies like he's a horrible father.
You're
I think
literally engaging in hyperbole saying this. You're literally being like, and moves a million miles away. Like, you're literally being hyperbolic in your analysis. And I'm sorry, I misheard.
Probably
You
pretty
actually
shitty
did
here.
literally say, I'm going to stop before someone clips that shit.
Did I say that before someone clips it?
Before someone clips that shit, yeah.
Did I say
Before
that?
someone clips that shit.
Yes.
Okay. All right, I'm sorry
Before
then.
someone clips
Okay.
that
Okay,
shit.
I just didn't.
You're gonna
I
get
I should have
honestly
my
didn't
camera for
remember.
you
I'm sorry.
because I got
Okay.
some food.
Okay, well. So, in response, since you did say
Pretty
that,
big
any
Anna L
thoughts,
there.
or-
Well, I mean, I think I said quite a bit to Steven in private. Like, it just feels a little weird because, like, I don't, like, sorry, it just
No,
feels a
take
little
your
weird.
time. It's fine.
Like, because, like, it feels like all the, like, the relationship between Steven and I, it's like somehow being treated like everyone's like involved or something. I guess it feels a little weird. Yeah.
Well, I mean, you also put it out there by talking about it on stream. Would you say that's accurate?
I talked about some parts.
Well, I
Do I-
mean, you kind of
do I-
invite future conversation when you do that, no?
I talked about very like surface level parts just to as like a way to like kind of get like some of my side out.
Is-
But I mean, I like left out
mean,
so much. I left out.
Sure, but him abandoning his child.
The problem with her saying that is that she doesn't have a side for that. She has opinions, but she doesn't have a side. Not her kid.
Is not very surface level. No, that's pretty.
What that says, abandoning a child is literally being a deadbeat dad. That's not what Steven is. And that's not what that says. That's not what abandoning is.
Okay.
I would just like to point out that I think it's fascinating that you're very quick to draw a distinction now between exactly what you said here, But earlier, when you said I left a trail of destruction behind me, you didn't give a fuck what the level of harm was or whatever. At that point, the nuance didn't matter.
Sorry, I'm gonna have to. It was a trail of victims.
Sorry,
not
trail of victims.
destruction.
I think it was trail of victims and destruction, or victims and devastation. I feel like there was a second adjective in there, but I might have missed it.
I think that's very accurate. Why are you acting like this is an attack?
In all fairness, when she's talking like that, yeah, it's good that she's changing what she's saying now. If she said that then and she's saying this now, that's a good thing. It's weird to criticize her for that now. That's what you want to happen. You want people to change their tune when you call them out like that for something they've said that was inappropriate.
On you. This is accurate.
How is this not an attack on me?
Because it's an accurate description.
But you don't know
like
that.
stuff. Yes, they. How? This is all public. You've made it all public, Stephen.
What
And that's
person?
part of the destruction of people.
What person have I wronged in like a destructive manner? Like what is one of the situations or scenarios that I've been involved with in these people?
Because you had the choice to just let it go and not like try and get revenge.
And what do I
Like,
do when they're continuing to shit talk me on their streams?
You don't have to like be so like just like vengeful about it.
So what
though.
should I do when so me writing the record and clearing up like what's happened? That's me being vengeful.
That's not what you do, though.
What do I do?
I mean, usually Destiny does go pretty hard when people piss them off. Yeah. Yeah, dog bark. Yeah, but when you're trying to destroy someone, you use their concessions as more ammo against them. Yeah, Destiny usually goes pretty hard. When somebody it's not just like if they're saying something that isn't true. He's mad. He doesn't just care about that. I'm struggling with the fact that he wouldn't just concede that point. It just seems like we all know that that's how he responds. He usually responds hard as fuck. It's weird that he's pretending not to. You're hate watching now? Yeah, I know. I'm gonna get back to you on the Twitter stuff, Cat Dog Berg. I promise.
What do I do that's like so horrible on my trail of destruction?
Well, I mean, like, what did you do recently to me? Like, you did.
Besides you, besides something that you're not personally involved in, we can talk about that if you want. But besides that, what's something that I've done on my trail of destruction?
Now this part's important. If they don't talk about it, because he's saying besides you, we can talk about that if you want. Something he says a lot, and then that usually doesn't get talked about. I think that's pretty important in this context.
Destruction.
You literally reveal like all kinds of private things.
Only after other people are making contradictory private claims that I have to clear up. Why wouldn't I do that?
You have a choice.
So I should just stand back and let everybody think that I'm like a horrible, abusive, manipulative person, and I shouldn't clear up anything if somebody lies about me?
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that there's a way to do it, like, you know, that doesn't go like all out, like.
I have never gone all out on anyone.
He knows the point Anna's trying to make. We all know the point Anna's trying to make. I think I've never gone all out on anyone. He's sidestepping the point. If we have seen is Destiny not going all out, that's fine. But we've seen crazy enough shit. We've seen enough vengeance, like fire and brimstone, to say like it feels like this would be all out for a lot of people. And he knows what she means. And don't get me wrong, sometimes that's the most interesting content that Destiny has. I'm not necessarily criticizing for it. Sometimes it does feel justified in the moment to go off on people like that. And sometimes when you're watching it, it's pretty entertaining. And that's fine. Really, I don't care about that. I care about right now the dishonesty about it. Like, for example, too, my wife likes Destiny the most when he's super pissed off and he's mean to people. It's usually the funniest parts. Like, it's not.
You
It's fine, but
were
it's weird to
absolutely
act like that's not what it
horrible.
is.
Name one person who you think I went all out on.
Do you not see what you just did?
Wait. Please.
I'm
please
gonna
give a
need
concrete
hold on. Yeah,
answer.
I'm gonna need you to answer a question with an answer and not another question. I'm just curious, like one person that I've gone.
Like,
This isn't an honest question. No matter who she says, he can just say, like, you don't really need to, you don't need to give him an answer. But you just say, like, I could have done worse. That's all he has to say, and then I didn't go all out. It's hammering down on, like, the specific of what she said rather than the obvious meaning of it, which is very annoying here for me. Because she brought up something interesting. It would be, I'd like to see Destiny respond to
Hello?
the interesting point that she raised.
you
Rather
didn't
than,
say anything about that.
He's
Wait, about what? No, I'm asking you for one person
Do
that
the
I went
semantic
all out
thing.
on. Do you think I went all out on?
It's very annoying.
Um,
Hold on. Oh, never mind.
I might leave.
This is one of the things, every once in a while, Destiny says something like that makes me annoyed as somebody in the audience. Like, I feel like I feel like he thinks that everybody watching is an idiot when he says stuff like that. By like avoiding the point.
Just
wait. Why would you leave?
Wait, sorry, hold on. Never mind.
Oh, okay.
okay.
Okay, who's one person that you think I went all out on?
Okay. I mean, it's good. It sounds bad if I'm saying
Just
like,
say it. He's kind of giving you permission.
Or
Go
just one
ahead, say
person
it.
you think I've gone all out on. I mean, it's all public anyway. You've said this as a matter of public record. It's not like you're about to say anything that like.
hey, well, me, yeah.
No,
Okay,
besides
besides
you. Obviously, you think I've gone all out on you. I clearly haven't. What? But regardless,
Really haven't.
who is one person you think I've gone all out on? Besides you, like, so you don't even know this. You're just.
Bad Bunny?
It's just not a fair question.
You think I went all out on Bad Bunny? What do you think I did to Bad Bunny?
See, this is what I mean. What do you think I did to Bad Bunny? The whole purpose of like responding with this kind of question is saying like I could have done worse. It's very
She was
annoying.
like traumatized by it.
Bad Bunny was traumatized because she said racist, stupid shit on her stream. Some people in my community have made threads on it saying, wow, look, Bad Bunny did something dumb. And then she was mad that I didn't delete the threads. That's me going all out on somebody? Really?
I used to like harass her by like screenshotting things that she said and posting on her Twitter. Like she doesn't want contact with you.
She's
And you're
making
not
public comments about political affairs. Of course I'm going to comment on it. What do you mean?
you to like do like she wouldn't.
That's not an argument against what she's saying.
It's like harassing though. To, like,
It's
do it.
harassing for me to give commentary on somebody else's public political commentary?
Taking a screenshot from like her Twitter and then like making a passive aggressive statement.
It wasn't passive aggressive. It was aggressive aggressive.
That okay, well it's still indirect. It's indirect, so still passive aggressive in a way, but yeah.
I mean, I think it's direct, but I don't see how you think this is a problem that.
I think it's fine. I think what he's talking about is fine. But he's dodging Anna's criticism hardcore here. It's annoying because it is an interesting conversation that can be had, but you just can't have it because he can like word game his way out of it, and it's annoying. Yeah, I think that it's fine for him to do that. It makes it less fine knowing how DGG can be, but I still think it's overall fine. But still an interesting conversation can be had. And by him not trying to have it, it makes it feel like, yeah, that's the thing that bothers me. By him trying to not have this conversation, it makes me feel like he thinks that there is something bad about it. More than I think that it is, even because if I did those kinds of things, I'd be happy to talk about it. And And I could totally imagine me taking screenshots and posting it and be like, wow, I can't believe this person did this. And if somebody wanted to talk to me about why they think that's wrong, I'd be happy to talk about it. But yeah, it's a little fucked up, but like, I feel okay with this. Something along those lines. I don't know. But by him just trying to avoid the conversation, it's very weird to me.
Somebody else making public comments about politics is like, I'm not allowed to comment on their things publicly. What is this?
I guess it's a matter of violating boundaries.
Violating boundaries? They're posting on a public Twitter.
But if a person doesn't want you to,
So let's say I want to go and say a bunch of dumb things on Twitter. If I just start blocking every person that gives commentary that I don't want to hear, does that mean that I'm free from criticism then?
You want more?
see, this is what I just,
No,
this
I'll
is
wait
why
till
I
dinner,
just
thank
can't,
you.
Like, I just can't deal with, because it's like it's just massively hypocritical, and you don't even see it.
What
You
is
just don't-
what part of this is hypocritical?
It's like you expect everyone to like respect your boundaries, but you won't respect anyone else's.
What?
Nobody else's matter. Only yours matter, Steven. Only your feelings matter, Steven. It's always seems like that's always how it is.
Do you think that that's the reason why is because my boundaries aren't abusive or manipulative and yours are? So of course it seems like only my boundaries matter because I'm not trying to abuse people with my boundaries. So you're the
How my boundaries
What?
are abusive. Can you explain how my boundaries are abusive?
you're
Like,
demanding that I have to pay attention to you, giving
have
incredibly
never-
harsh and You've told
You
me.
twisted that, Steven. You have twisted that.
You
because I
told
have
me
never-
that if I don't listen to your criticisms, it's abuse. Do you deny
No,
that?
I did not say that.
You don't think you've said that before?
Steven, you have to listen to it. I have
I'm pretty sure that she said that the silent treatment is what's abusive. We have another one of those. Nice. What else did you get, lady? Oh, okay. That creepy child. My wife got some Lorcana cards. Oh, lady. Oh, never mind. It's the wrong one. Sorry. There you go. Oh, I'll put them. Okay, back to it.
said that just dismissing and ignoring my words is what is abusive.
Wait,
Being
so I
dismissive
have to. Okay, listen to what you're saying.
Yeah.
Just try to. No. Hold on, wait. Follow the English. No. This is great. I think this is called. I think this is called a contrapositive in
don't
logic.
believe it.
Okay, you're saying if I don't listen to what you're saying, that's abusive. So therefore, I have to listen to what you're saying to not be abusive. Do you understand that?
No, I don't think that's the same thing. No.
Oh man, Linus,
Okay, I
take it
can
away.
really psychology.
My understanding of what Anna has criticized Destiny of is that he stonewalls her is the word that she used, meaning that like he'll just ignore everything that she says. And it's like a particular way in which he's ignoring her. That's my understanding of it. Now, I don't know if that's true or how accurate it is or to what degree or anything like that, but I think that he's not engaging with her actual criticism when he's saying this. He's saying something that sounds like it, but he's not. At least my understanding of the criticism that she's given to him before.
Articles that show.
No, this isn't psychology articles. This is like a formal logic, like 101. Like this is just true. This is like deductively true. If your brain is structured in such a way that it resembles other brains in this universe, it's just true.
All right, but you're being abusive right now by just acting like I'm crazy. This is called crazy making, and I don't like it.
No,
I'm not
this
gonna
is
do
called
it.
crazy observing. Okay, this is a way different thing. Okay,
No, crazy is not a
Stop.
actual
Okay.
medical term. It'd be histrionics.
shut the fuck up. Okay,
That's not what histrionic is. Histrionic is being overly provocative and being inappropriately.
I'm the doctor. Go ahead, Stephen.
okay. Wait,
Dr. Dan.
Anna, do you realize that when you say if I don't listen to you, that's abusive? That this is what?
That's not what I said, though.
Wait,
Look, this is one of the things that I dislike the most when I'm talking to people in real life and this happens, I lose my fucking mind. He's already said this before. She disputed it. They did not land on an agreement that this is what happens. And so then some other stuff happens and he comes back to it and says, do you realize when you do this, they've already addressed that and they don't agree. So starting something off by supposing it, I think this is very manipulative. I think it's just trying to get away with it again. Or you're doing it to because you know the other person is going to respond and say no I didn't and frustrate them. This happens to me when I talk to people a lot. Or even I'll push back on the thing they're saying. They'll agree with me and then they'll switch back to the thing that I didn't agree with to begin with. And that's how you make somebody get mad and make them look like they're crazy, I think.
Okay, what did you say exactly?
I said that when you just completely ignore like my concerns and like what I have to say,
Okay.
like, that's really hurtful.
No,
hurts-
not hurtful. It is.
That hurts people.
It
Yeah,
is.
and
It's
and
the A word.
them. Wait, hold on. I gotta get my cat. She's scratching at my door. Hold on. I'll be right back.
Okay. You wanted this, Dan.
I'm very content.
Fuck you.
Amazing.
Stop. You're fucking cringe,
I
Dan.
wanted to get one in. Sorry.
I want that soundboard. Oh my god. There's nothing stopping me. I could get a Jesse Lee
Don't forget what I
Peterson
said to you.
soundboard on my
I've
stream
already
deck.
forgotten.
You
We're not
the-
doing.
no.
No.
You better remember
won't.
it. I'm not fucking with you. I won't talk to you anymore. I'll be done. I'm
My
gonna
wife
solve
would
your
love it.
issues.
My wife
That's
loves
abuse,
Jesse
Dan.
Lee Peterson.
True.
It's one of
You're
her
being
favorites.
You are.
emotionally manipulated.
Right now, Dan, you fucking piece of shit.
Oh
Do you
shit.
want me to send a DDoS vector your way?
Try it.
I didn't fucking think so, kid.
Can't DDoS
Settle
me.
down.
I've got Linux installed on my
I'm
other
on
on my other
Manjaro
hard
Linux.
drive.
I just heard that.
It's the issue of streaming the video on my main monitor.
It's like really.
I'm sorry. You're right. That was childish. I apologize.
You're being quite histrionic right now, Dan.
Okay, let's be serious.
Bionic is. Oh my god.
Okay, hold on. Anna, what exactly did you tell me in terms of me having to listen to you or it being abusive? Can you explain this?
I would never tell someone that they have to listen to me.
Okay,
That's fucked up.
tell me what you said then.
Okay, well, I sent you articles that said that it violates people's boundaries when you refuse to hear them, when you are using evasive maneuvers, refusing to like listen to them because it's making them feel completely invalidated. It's called invalidating them because when you're close friends with someone, you know, and you
Wait, can we just... Okay, wait, let's just focus on this.
okay, but
Wait, let's just focus on this. So you said it violates somebody's boundaries when you don't listen to them, right?
like when you refuse to listen and
Okay.
when you dismiss what they have to say and
So then okay, wait, one thing at a time. So then what are you saying you should do?
well, if you want to stay friends with someone, I mean, generally it's like considered respectful to hear them out, right?
Okay, so you're saying that...
I want to hear them out.
Wait,
That's
yeah,
fine.
okay, yeah,
But
wait. Just very simple.
friend-
Okay. If
we
you
wouldn't be friends.
if you violate somebody's boundaries, okay, and you're not listening to them, is that
I have
abusive?
I swear to God, I have psychology articles. I will send them
I don't
to you.
know. We don't need an article for this.
But you're acting like I'm crazy. You're acting like I pull this shit out of my ass. Like, come on, man. Like, I don't.
I'm
I
just
don't really
asking you to follow. I'm asking you to follow a very simple logical structure. Very simple. So I'm asking you, if you violate somebody's boundaries, is that abusive?
No, not necessarily.
Not necessarily. Not like always.
Right.
Is it generally, if you violate somebody's boundaries, is it generally abusive?
I don't feel
If
comfortable
it's
making
done
a
as a
strong statement. on that.
pattern,
Okay, and if you should hear somebody out in order to not violate their boundaries, right?
Mhm.
Aren't you basically saying you should listen to somebody so that you don't abuse them?
I don't think so. No. Can I read you something? Emotional boundaries are violated when someone criticizes, belittles, dismisses, or invalidates another person's feelings.
So kind of like when I tell you that I feel like some of my relationships are fine and you try to belittle or invalidate those by linking articles at me?
No, that's not what like.
The important thing about what she said is that if there's a pattern of it, because if you can't engage with somebody without doing that, then you probably should just stop engaging with them because you're being harmful. I think that's the idea that she's trying to get across. just don't know
mean,
if
What do
she's
you
that
what
good
do you
at
do
it.
if you both have feelings that conflict with each other?
Oh, yeah, then you have to compromise and negotiate, or you just kind of can't really be friends, you know? Because like that's another problem. Like I felt like Stephen was dismissing and belittling my feelings as well on
Because
these
you're
things.
not giving me real feelings. What you're talking about
Oh.
are feelings. They're judgments that you're making on my other relationships.
Fair, because now this is invalidating my feelings, though.
No, you're using feelings to launch attacks at me. These aren't your feelings, okay? You don't have feelings about relationships, about people that you've never met. These aren't
No.
feelings that you have. These
They're
are
about
judgments
him.
that you're making.
No, it's not judgments. It's like being worried about your behavior, feeling uncomfortable with it and stuff.
Okay, let's pretend that Destiny's totally in the right here. It is still abusive to put this person in front of your large audience and basically get into a personal relationship drama. Yeah, there's like a ton of pressure on Anna right now, and like you can look at the chat. He's openly villainizing this person in front of a mass audience. That's what I think this stream is. I think this stream is to present Anna to his audience. Because I've seen them in the chat through this stream of them making up their mind about her. He's presenting to her to DGG so that they all understand this is a bad one. Fuck this chick. That's what it seems like to me.
I'm wanting to at least express that to you.
You've
That's
expressed it a multitude of times, over and over and over again.
Do you
He doesn't
know
care.
that
He doesn't care about having a real conversation with her. Because in the last stream, pointed out when she made points that were good, he would like concede it and then like super quick, like when I say super quick, like he would speed up his words, like yeah sure, but then and then like move away from it like really fast, so that like she's gonna hear the confirmation, but the audience isn't really gonna acknowledge that confirmation. Like if this is about something she did that was far worse, maybe this would be more understandable. But the problem he has with her doesn't warrant this level of response. Yeah, I mean, I feel like even if you're of the opinion that Anna was a terrible monster of Destiny, and Destiny is just absolutely, there's no nuance to it, just straight up a victim of Anna, that this didn't need to happen like this. Because if Destiny is a victim of Anna, then he's a victim of Anna for bringing her on, largely in part, at least. I would say.
even in like when you have conflict in like within a relationship, because I've had like couples therapy classes, and it's like you're not even supposed to ever say the words like right or wrong, because you're supposed to always consider like and this is only in relationships, not with like, you know, people you don't know, but it's always supposed to be that like there's no right or wrong, everyone's opinion and feeling is valid, and you're not supposed to attack like this. You're supposed to just listen. It's just two people having a conversation. That's all.
Okay, I feel like this is why I'm sorry if it still sounds like a data. Why I sincerely wonder what kind of classes you've taken. You take one or two sentences out of these classes, and you completely.
I'm disappointed. I thought he was gonna say, like, I feel like there was some pretty good criticism to what she just said, that I thought of passingly, and I was just waiting to see what he said. But he switched to like Adham, which is weird.
Totally have no idea how to actually interpret and contextualize these things. So, for instance,
You know better, but you don't. You're assuming that I misinterpret or mischaracterize.
because why? Okay, so here's a question: when you say you're never supposed to say right or wrong in an argument, why do you think that's the case?
Because I mean, it invalidates the other person's perspective.
Why does that? And why does that matter?
Because that makes people feel like shit, you know?
Okay, and why does it matter if they feel like shit? What's the?
I think it's a lot better to say it makes them feel like that they don't have a voice in the relationship. She's clearly distressed. This would be the time to recognize this, stop the conversation for both their own good. And if he had actually seriously viewed her as emotionally abusive, block her, move on. Yeah. I think that this stream showed him that it's like pretty safe to engage with her, at least as far as like his image is concerned. And so, like, it only stands to benefit him because people are going to be wrapped up in the drama of it. I have also heard, and from a pretty good source, I haven't confirmed it myself, but it's something I plan on looking into because it's quite a bit of work to confirm it, is that as time goes on, Destiny would involve Anna in things when his viewership dips, and I'm really interested to see if that pans out. If that's the case, then I would probably make the claim that he's like abusing Anna for money publicly.
Goal of counseling, or what's the goal of a conversation? Like,
The goal
especially
of
of a disagreement. What's the goal of a disagreement? Hopefully.
Yeah. Conflict, we're supposed to use healthy conflict resolution.
But I'd have to confirm that to make that claim.
Gotcha. To resolve conflict, right? So
Resolve conflict.
when you've learned in a class that you're not supposed to say right or wrong about a particular thing, that's probably because it gets in the way of resolving conflict, right?
This is for all interpersonal relationships,
Sure. But if you're doing things that are essentially the same as saying something is right or wrong, like spam linking articles saying these are dark triad subclinical traits, which kind of feels pretty wrong, the fact that you're not actually saying right or wrong isn't very relevant to the behavior that you're exhibiting. You're doing the exact same thing that you've learned not to do in your classes, but since you're not using the particular word, right or wrong, you somehow think it's okay.
But Steven, I've already said that I know that I didn't handle it well. I know I didn't do that the right way. I know I didn't approach it the right way. I know that.
Okay.
Okay, at least he dropped it there.
Do you understand yet that when you
Oh.
say that you're kind of compelling me to listen to you, otherwise I'm being abusive, when you say that one of your boundaries is having to express problems with my relationships to me, and that I have to hear those out, otherwise I'm being abusive by stonewalling you or ignoring you?
It's that
I had a whole argument with Tom Florita's community about his show, the level of insult. Wait. Go too far. Can I get your take? Do you normally feel like it's morally wrong to attack someone for being raped? Okay, hold on. I'd have to see what you're talking about, because obviously, I think almost everybody would agree that you shouldn't attack people who are the victim of trauma about the trauma they're a victim of. If it's that cut and dry, that's fucking crazy. I feel like there's probably there's some more nuance to that, right? Did you just summarize it that way so that it was easier to type in? So like, let me try to think of an example. Like if, oh, what's her name? So you're telling me that like if Ann Coulter got raped, like you think that Tom Fuller's community would think it's okay to like make fun of her for it? I think it's never okay to suggest you don't sincerely care about rape survivors or kids that were groomed if you go this far. I don't think it suggests that you never care. You can have like lapses of judgment, right? But yeah, I'd be really curious. Do you have like a link or anything to what you're talking about them saying? Because I have a hard time imagining anybody actually doing this. Like this is just like sounds like pure evil to me. Like Ann Coulter is pretty much universally hated by people that aren't like far right. She says really fucked up and terrible things a lot. And so if a black person insulted me and I responded with calling them an N-word, I would be racist. You'd have been acting racist in that moment, at least. I don't know if that makes you like it brands your soul and your like your being with like the like that you're a racist like as a fact about you, but you're certainly being quite racist in that moment, sure.
It's not that I said you have to. If you don't want to be my friend, then don't.
Do you think it's a little unhealthy that you're basically telling somebody, like, if for future friendships, that like I should be able to express whatever concern I want about anything in
Yeah,
your
I think that Ann Coulter would be a good litmus test. I'll try to see if I can talk to Tom about it. But I'd really like to see. I would suggest that I'm willing to go so low as to attack their skin color, an immutable thing. Sure. Um, you're responding to an insult. I think that sometimes people can act unhinged when, like, if they get their feelings hurt, and that it's not necessarily going to be indicative of like who they are as a person. Now, if every time you get insulted, you go after a person's race, you're probably just racist, yeah. I don't like making like broad sweeping judgments about a person based on an individual instance of behavior. Typically, I'm gonna look for like a pattern of behavior because that's gonna be like way more important to me than see if somebody like messed up.
life, and if you won't hear that, then we're just not going to be friends.
I've never had to do this before because I've never known anyone.
Because like, if somebody made fun of you for your mom being dead, and they're black, and then you were really mad and you called them the N-word, it might be the case that you don't have anything against black people at all in general. In fact, like you're adamantly against racism. However, you couldn't think of any, if you felt like I need to hurt them back in the same way they just hurt me about making fun of my mom being dead, and you have no ammo, but you know that they're very sensitive about that, that might just be what you go to. Really, like, fast and in the moment. So like, I want to hurt them back. That doesn't necessarily make you racist. It just makes you a person who was hurt and you wanted to hurt the other person back, which I think isn't good, but it's a pretty human response. It's morally wrong to go that low, and it doesn't matter if the person you are insulting is shitty and went low. Sure. Like I said, I without having the example that you gave, or that you're talking about them doing that in, like I would probably want to like ask Tom if he thinks that it would be more acceptable to like attack Ann Coulter if she had gotten raped, because like she's probably a litmus test for this. If it's not okay to attack Ann Coulter for it, then it's probably not okay to attack anybody. I'd say it's not okay to attack anybody for that.
That acts like this.
I think I've
Mm.
been.
But if you give me an example,
I don't believe.
generally if someone did that to you, you should rise above that, because you aren't just insulting that person, you're insulting how other black people are rape survivors for this by extension. It can certainly be interpreted that way, and if you do it publicly, it makes it all the worse. You shouldn't do it. Agreed. And doing that action itself is racist. I just don't know if it makes that person that thing. That's all. But again, with the Tom thing, I need to see an example or give him the Ann Coulter test.
Leave you. I have been unbelievably accommodating in this friendship, and unimaginably accommodating. I think that the
But I agree with everything
majority
you
of
said in your last
people,
message.
Haven't been
I have
And
been unimaginably accommodating.
that.
What?
Like, my friends can clearly see that.
If you want to bring any friend into here and you want to let me explain what's happened, I guarantee you they will never ever side with you. Okay?
No, how they will.
They absolutely will not. Anna, you were literally calling me greedy for working a sponsorship deal after I landed in Sweden.
I know. I said that. Why do you keep on doing this? Why do you keep throwing it in my face when I've already apologized to
That feels pretty random. Yeah, I linked the YouTube timestamp. You can watch it whenever you want. Oh, cool. I will.
you?
Because you
Yeah, I want to give you as much charity as possible in what you're talking about. But I can't speak to something that I haven't seen. I want to give you my honest opinion about it, but I also don't want to be the kind of person that makes judgments about something that I don't know what I'm talking about based on other people's
you're
experiences.
criticizing me for behaviors that I've
Because while I trust you, I don't trust anybody's ability to interpret things the same way that I would. So I just got to see it. So
exhibited
that's cool. I will
after
definitely check it out.
horrible things you've said to me. And then you're trying to say, well, I apologize for those bad things. That's fine, but you must understand my actions. Like,
I know I got angry, and I know it was that one time that I got very upset.
it's
and I
not
called
just
you-
one time. You've like exhibited a pattern of like being incredibly like nasty and vile towards like my life or my personal relationships.
I feel like Destiny should just lay out those reasons now, like all out right here, because he's really telling the audience what to think right now.
I guess I
Well, and the examples that he's given have been contested like the whole time. So it's a little. I feel like this is a little bit irresponsible.
don't. I guess I didn't realize that, like, you felt it was that bad,
So as an example, without like using names or getting too particular, okay? So I have a certain
He didn't respond to her.
relationship. Wait, hold on. I have a relationship that you disagree with, okay? And I've said that like, well, actually, I think this is a perfectly fine relationship. And wait, can I finish? Hello? Okay? I've said that I feel like this is perfectly a fine relationship.
I think she's getting frustrated because he didn't respond to her, and now he's trying to set something up that he knows is like an argument that's going to be good for
And
him.
you've literally told me explicitly, well, actually, people with this mental condition, they can't even feel love. So I don't even know if you know that's a good relationship or not. You've explicitly said this to me. How can you think that this is like a normal, well-adjusted thing to say to somebody?
context. You are taking that completely out of context. It's the only reason I said that is because you made the claim that when we were talking about these specific range of disorders, and you made the claim that these people can feel love, and I was like, well, so actually there's some research on this that like they may not quite feel the exact
Do you not
love,
understand how unimaginably horrible it is to tell somebody that, oh, well, this person you like, well, they have a certain personality disorder, and
Well, so what? Destiny brought it up to her then, is what it sounds like. He's inviting her response. You can't bring something up to somebody and say they have no right to tell you what they think then. That one's weird. This isn't like any of the other examples that he gave. I didn't expect that, cat dog, but that's pretty good. You are pretty.
I don't even think they can ever love you. Do you understand how absolutely fucking horrible that is to say to somebody?
I said that
Well, she's contesting that. She said that. However, if that's what she thinks, then, like, I think a good friend should tell you that if that's what they think. He invited response.
it's said that it is in the research literature. It's not completely concluded that they feel the type of healthy love, because it is. Dr. Todd Grande has a video.
You're just not understanding it. You're totally not understanding this.
No, you're saying, hey, I think you should be careful. There's some research that says that the kinds of feelings that you're looking to get from this person might not be able to be gotten. You're my friend. I'm worried about you. So this is something you need to keep in mind if you're going to engage with a person that has this disorder. I think it's totally fine to say.
Okay, if it's so horrible, why do psychologists make videos and articles? Do X personality disorder, can they feel love?
You're just not.
Because
You're
they're-
totally not.
They're psychologists,
Respond!
and they're not in a relationship with the people they're studying. There's a layer of removal there.
Okay, I mean,
Like, but the thing is that like, even if you were one day to be a therapist to a person like this, like, you would never say this to a client or about a client's relationship. Like, so I don't know why you think it would be acceptable to say to a friend.
because
And she's not his fucking therapist. What? It's a very weird jump to make.
that's a different relationship.
Friends don't have the same sort of responsibilities that a therapist does to their patients. That's
Like
crazy.
a therapist-client relationship is very different from like a friendship.
Sure,
Yes.
but like Linus said, most people that do therapy apply a lot of those techniques in their real life as well, because most of what you learn in therapy is going to be stuff that you can apply to most of your.
This is a very, very big dodge. He's being super evasive here. I'd be fucking going crazy. over this.
Conversations, listening skills with other people, conflict resolution, understanding people's problems, like getting
This
people to
isn't
talk about their
relevant.
feelings. Like, these are things that work across a wide variety of relationships.
Yeah.
Why would you think that it's and this is just one example of many.
Sure, what he said is true, but it doesn't mean that she can't say what she said. Then she's not his fucking therapist. Just a very frustrating response from him. Like, she's bringing up some interesting things, and I'd really like to hear a real response, and he's just not giving any.
Will you just say offhandedly these like really horrible, like toxic and vile things about like things I've been involved? Like
No, that's not toxic and vile.
It sounds like Destiny's whole argument is that you said mean things to me. Which my understanding is that Destiny thinks that this is appropriate and it's fine to do. And I just don't believe that he's like that hurt about it either. By his own standards that he's put out there, he's not that emotional.
To link you an article
Peter Griffin wins. He has tune power. Emily.
and to express concern. I don't say like, even look, this person can't feel love. Like, I would never say that. That's fucked up.
So just my partner has schizoid personality.
Peter Griffin wins in a fight against Thanos. He has tune power. He has the ability to manipulate the world around him because he's a cartoon. This man has died and comes back in the next scene plenty of times. He has flashbacks of times he got murdered, all right?
Personality disorder, right? And if I were to link them an article about their personality disorder in relation
Force,
to
that's
something
what it's
they did,
called.
I think that would be incredibly hurtful to them. Like, very hurtful to them. I would feel terrible doing that. I would feel like I was attacking them, in fact.
Not to
Because
mention the
it's-
fact that you're asking me if I've noticed personal things about this person based on your like broad understanding of a diagnosis. Like, you're literally asking me, how can you be close to somebody with that personality disorder? Honestly, I feel like maybe you don't really know what genuine emotional intimacy is. People with that personality disorder are incapable of maintaining emotional intimacy, like all the personality disorders are. It makes sense that you two get along so well. That personality disorder is an extremely
I know it detracts from the video, but I think he'd just be like, Infinity Gauntlet, oh, that reminds me of the time that I got the Infinite Eraser, or what the fuck's it called? The thing that Galactus has that just, like, erases things from existence. You just hit him with it. And pull it out of his pocket and
cold
hit
and
him with
detached
it.
personality. Haven't you noticed these things? Like, holy shit, dude. You like, this is like the meanest type of shit that you can do to somebody. This is supposed to be a conversation with a friend, and this is what you're saying to me. Like,
Steven, that was also when we were fighting and you were being incredibly abusive. Do you not remember this? Like, this is what I mean. You're taking it completely out of context.
okay.
It's like you don't see how you
Ultimate nullifier.
do these horrible things. And it's like, you only see when it's like things are done that you feel hurt by, but you
Side note, it's probably unethical to joke about your power over others with people in the spaces that you don't know. Sorry, my bad. Might do it again because I'm an idiot. Look, I think you're fine because you have never once banned anybody. If you had banned a bunch of people, just reasons or not, recently, and then you made that joke, then it's bad. But you've never banned anybody ever. You're fine.
fail to
It's funny for you to say, agree with me or I'll ban you, because you've never banned anybody.
see how you impact other people too.
You are actively unwilling
And
to
it's
use your
just-
power.
It's just very frustrating.
So now retaliation is okay?
No, it's not. I just wish you could see like the context.
I don't think I have done horrible things to you. I disagree
know.
with that. I think the only maybe bad things I've done are when I came onto stream and I had the 2-hour conversation about the extent of our relationship and our interactions. But I kind of had to do that because you were on stream like leaking little thing after little thing after little thing. And I don't want something to get leaked on my subreddit where people start running away with it and making massive assumptions without me addressing it first.
That is really, really ridiculous.
What is really
Because
ridiculous?
I didn't leak anything. How dare you?
So you
That's
did.
horrible.
So you
I
did.
didn't leak anything.
So
I would never.
you did.
I did not leak anything. How dare you? What the fuck, Steven? How could you say that? What did I leak?
Yeah, Steven, can you give some context, please?
What on
It's
earth
pretty
did
important.
I leak?
So you literally responded to a comment. I talked to you about this personally in an incredibly joking manner on your stream that made it
Yeah, I
like
know.
pretty apparent to most people watching the context of that joke was. Like, and then
Well, he started it then. Like, come on. That sounds like bait. He baited her and then she responded. I think it's pretty poor framing to say that she was leaking. If he brought up a reason, if you bring up something and if the person's honest response to it can be something that you would consider to be a leak, then don't fucking do that.
What
you go.
I think that, yes, I know that that was wrong. I just want to say I do know that it was wrong, and I'm not
Okay.
trying to justify that. I'm just trying to explain that that's not leaking anything because literally you I don't understand how that's leaking because like I literally was like, yeah, it's unhealthy.
Because the problem is that past that leak, okay,
I wish
once
we had
people know
more
that
clear
piece of
cut,
information,
That's not a leak. How is that a leak?
Because
what are
it's-
you saying is a leak?
because you heavily implied that we've had a certain type of relationship, whether or not.
No, I don't. No, that is completely distorted. That is oh my fucking god. That is so fucking distorted. Holy shit.
Can I get the
I
example?
don't know if
No.
you
God damn it.
understand how normal human beings like see things or interpret things, but
You understand. I don't think you understand that at all. I don't think you
is there
understand that at
anybody in
Like, I feel like he's gonna, like, he already knows what she's talking about, so he's gonna draw blinds. I have no idea if this constitutes a leak. It seems like if he's that concerned about it, he shouldn't bring something up there where her response could constitute a leak in his mind.
this room that you want to view the clip to see if they do you trust Linus to
Oh.
watch it? I don't know if Linus knows what I'm talking about, to see if he'll come away with it. Think what?
I was literally saying like, oh, have any standards, Steven, any at all, like any at all, because you always talk on stream about like.
Nope, that's not the clip that I'm talking about. I'm talking about the one where you joke about something and you tell people like, "Oh, don't ask me that question."
What?
If he's really that concerned about it, why is he bringing it up now too? This is weird. Either quit alluding to it and like essentially recreating the leak, or just show it. Jesus Christ, this is weird. It feels like he's playing a
Steven,
game
you
here.
realize that like this meant so much to me to keep this private, right? Like this.
Yes, but
this
you're
was-
the one that made the first joke publicly on stream. And when you made that joke, it's enough information for people to be like, "Oh, well, I wonder if there's something." And then when you start making judgments about my personal life, now people are thinking somebody that's had an intimate relationship with me is making like valid judgments on my personal life. I have to come out ahead of this, and I have to say like, "Hey, like this is everything that happened, by the way."
I can't even rationalize with you. You're literally delusional. I can't even like.
Delusional.
How could you?
I wonder how much of what he's saying is subject to the fact that like just his interpretation of it. It could be the case that to him it feels like it's obvious because he can't separate what he knows about what they've engaged with, engaged in the past, versus somebody who has no idea how like obvious that's going to seem to them. Because obviously he's sensitive to it, so it might just set off those alarms. I really wish instead of alluding to these things that, according to him, they're now public. So I wish he'd just show us what the fuck he's talking about instead of making us just sort of like take it at his word.
Possibly think that.
Do
Oh
you,
my god.
do you want to? We could watch the clip on stream, and we could ask
Yes.
everybody. Do you think it's reasonable that you might take away like this?
Someone asked me that.
Hmm?
I always said no. Always said no. I never wanted this leaked ever. This was my greatest fear. Are you kidding me? You promised me you would never leak this. You promised me.
Sure. But once you started talking about it and joking about it publicly, and then started making other declarations on my life, I kind of have to come out and say something. Do you understand?
About it. I swear. Please. I didn't talk about it. I don't know what you're talking about. I literally didn't talk about it. Every time someone asked me about it, I said no. I didn't want this out there. I don't understand what you're saying. Every time someone asked me, I said no, no, no.
Hey, doggy. Yeah, I'm super
I
curious.
never wanted this out there.
Do you want to take a step back for a moment and we can recoup?
I've seen somebody in the chat said, "Can we play the clip?" Like, I think we need to play the clip at this point. Oh wait, shit. Did they play the clip? Doesn't look like they play the clip, but we can. People are rabid over their public image. True. Dan put the clip in there. Let's see, youtube.com/watch little v equals a o 5s 4b xi 0 little o Okay, you put it in there 3 times. I thought that whole thing was the link.
This is a top to what we use on stage, but it's very,
Wait. God damn it, is this a troll?
very special because if you can see,
Yeah.
the numbers all go to 11. Look, right across the
Why
board.
did Dan shit us in the chat?
11,
Oh, I see.
11,
And most of the
11, and then
amps go up to 10.
Exactly.
Does that mean it's louder? Is it any louder?
Well, it's one louder, isn't it? It's not 10. You see, most blokes are going to be playing at 10.
God damn it.
You're on 10 here, all the way up, louder.
Why don't you just make
Fucking Dan. God damn it.
Feels like you don't care. Like it feels like you don't have any remorse for anything.
No, I
Shit.
don't. Of course not.
Everything's too loud. I tried turning it up on my keyboard. There we go. I can turn it back down. God, that was too loud.
Because you're an incredibly judgmental, emotionally manipulative, and abusive person, and you managed to like flip everything around on the fact that I'm being abusive.
Exactly how I feel about you.
Yeah, but the difference is that like I've gone through like 50 incredibly hurtful and abusive things you've said to me, and you haven't thought of a single thing that I've said or done about you. That that's the difference, right?
I haven't gotten to have that. I haven't gotten to speak.
Oh, well, if you
myself.
want to, then by all means, please share with me the abusive behaviors that I've exhibited towards you.
Also, I don't think that what you're talking about is extremely abusive.
Okay, well, I think that the vast majority of people that would have read or heard any of the
He's just alluding to still.
conversations that we've had would come away thinking, wow, she is being incredibly fucking horrible about your personal relationships. These are like some of the meanest things. Like I would like the comments.
Oh, Emery, I just saw. It was from that. I saw that was playing last night. But the woman my wife and I have been seeing were over, so I couldn't like watch it. But I was like, ooh, and I clicked save this for later. So I would have ended up seeing that too. That's funny that it's from that.
that you're saying, I would expect to
It's
see in
literally
the
on the
downloaded
list.
sections of Reddit or on 4chan threads about me. That's like where I would expect to see like, oh, this guy has mental disabilities. He's got personality disorders, and that's the only way he can relate to these other incredibly damaged people. Like these are things that I would read on 4chan or in the most downvoted parts of Reddit.
To you, but I never said that to you.
I just read it, Anna. Everybody heard what I just read. Those are things that you said to me.
I criticized your behavior and stuff. I didn't say that you have a personality disorder.
No, you don't. Okay,
You're a narcissist.
You-
I didn't say that.
okay. You don't say that, but you constantly say that you exhibit characteristics of this, or you act like this, or you do this thing that these people do.
Because you were hurting me, and I was trying to help you to see how you were hurting me.
That I'm hurting you by being narcissistic. So then you are saying that I have these things.
No, I was showing that this behavior is a type of it's like a narcissistic behavior. That's what
Oh.
I mean. That doesn't mean you have a narcissistic personality
If you
disorder.
constantly tell somebody that they're exhibiting behaviors of a certain subclinical thing, you don't think you're kind of implying that they might be part of that subclinical group?
No. I mean, you can do that.
Do you not understand that's how 99.9% of people would read that?
That's not at all how I would read that. I would say that this is like, look, this is bad. Here's why it's bad. This is part of a group of behaviors that's so bad that we classify it as this. So if you're having one of these things, maybe it's something that you should consider not doing because, it's like an established part of it's a part of behavior that we have established as like so bad that we have a name for it. Maybe other people are just that easily persuaded, but I think if you have the ability to critically think at all, you wouldn't draw that conclusion.
I understand that. Yes. But it was like
I wouldn't have given him that.
it was the only it was like because I was trying to show you how much it hurt. So it was like, well, look, this is actually considered narcissistic. That's how bad this behavior is.
You're not making an argument about behavior by linking me the 57th like Psychology Today article on narcissism.
But like, it wasn't about narcissism. It was about the behavior. Like, you know.
Yes, like the behavior, for instance, is like having certain sexual relationships with somebody. You've never, ever levied a specific like abusive behavior that I've had in any of these sexual relationships. You just say like, well, here's an article about it. That's why you shouldn't do it.
Talking about your other relationships. This was literally a small part, Stephen. I'm talking about all the other stuff.
Like, everything that you cite.
Isn't it? I guess to me it would just make sense that she's sending the article and assuming that he will see the part of it that mirrors, like if they're talking about behaviors, and in her mind saying he'll see this part here that mirrors something that he has told me, and he'll understand that that's why this is bad. This is bad because it is this part of the behavior emulates that of people who are narcissistic. So maybe he'll understand that when I'm saying this isn't good, this will add some validity to it. That's what I'm understanding.
Right at me are behaviors
He's
that
not
I
really
do and how
engaging
it
with
falls
that.
under narcissism.
The point was to help you
Cool,
see
thank
how
you.
bad the behavior is, how hurtful it is. And I don't know how else I could do that because
The thing is that I don't
believe it.
I-
You just dismiss it.
Yeah, because
Like-
I dismiss criticisms that I don't feel are valid. I don't think you have a right to tell me that I have to hear your concerns about my personal relationships that you have nothing to do with.
I'm not talking about the personal relationships. Please stop bringing it back to that. Now we're talking about like the majority of the issues is how you've treated me, and that's what a lot of the articles why I linked them because
What have I
since you-
done to treat you poorly? What abusive behavior have I exhibited towards
It's her making that point. She probably should have addressed that sooner. Not probably. She definitely should have addressed that sooner. But if she's sending him the articles and saying, "Hey, look, read these," and then saying, "What have I done to you?" It seems like he has a pretty good understanding of it. What she thinks he's doing wrong to her. So this comes off as dishonest to me.
you?
Steven,
Yeah.
that's why I linked you all those fucking articles.
No, that's not true. Some of these articles that you've linked me are literally like, look, you're like, you say these same things that people say about sexual narcissism or whatever. Like when you focus on performance, that's a sexual narcissist thing. Like this isn't about an abusive behavior that I've displayed towards you. Like you link me random shit about how things that I've.
I think isolating that makes her sound crazy. But if there's a ton of them, it sounds like she's building up a case to him for why what she's saying is valid. Because I think it's fair to say that most people, or at least a lot of people, care about performance when it comes to sexual. Like when they have sex scenes, like a lot of people care about performance, like their own, at least. So I think pointing that out as like an example without having a broader context feels pretty manipulative from like the standpoint of the like it feels manipulative to the audience, and I guess to Anna too, because
I've done are like
of the effect on
narcissistic all the
audience.
time that isn't related. Like I'm genuinely curious. If I were to ask you, what's like one narcissistic abusive behavior that I've exhibited towards you?
He
Haven't
just
let me
said
speak. You're not letting me speak. You keep speaking over me. Please, can I just?
he just gave one and then said like invalidate it and then said, give me a single example, but that was a single example and he brought it up.
Speak,
That's very
please?
weird.
Okay.
That's very weird. It's gotta be pretty hard to respond now too. The pressure's on as fuck.
like a lot of times that you're so cold all the time, and it's really hurtful. It's really hurtful how detached and cold you've been to me, and I've asked you a million times, please try and show empathy. I literally asked you so many times to please show empathy, and you.
This should end right now.
Do you understand that it's not empathetic of me, or it's not required of me to be empathetic to hear out your criticisms of my life?
That's not what I was talking about. That's not the context. Stop
Then
bringing it back.
okay, so then in that case, what are these abusive behaviors that I've exhibited that I'm not showing enough empathy about?
I just told you. Don't you remember when I was asking you to show empathy for like my hurt feelings and stuff? And you
Usually
didn't.
your hurt feelings come at the end of us fighting because I don't want to hear your call-outs or criticisms of my personal relationships.
You can still have empathy and reject you can still reject wanting to hear them and still empathize for how that makes her feel. I don't think you have to. But it's a lot better if you do.
This was before this.
What was it
Stop
about then?
twisting this. You are being so manipulative right now. You're being so manipulative. And I'm not gonna just leak DMs. Like, I don't want to do that shit. I just want to be able to talk to you like a person.
I wish I knew like all these abusive behaviors that I exhibited so that I could.
I told you, but then you took that as abusive of me. Every time I tried to tell you about an abusive behavior and stuff, that was seen as abusive by you, and it's just this endless cycle.
Because
of
the
us
only abusive behavior that I remember you calling out is when you saying you're being abusive by not responding to my 55 messages, or you're being abusive by not hearing out my criticisms of your personal life. Those are the only things I remember.
No, go find where I said that, Steven. I never said that. Go find where I said that. Like, oh, you're being abusive by not responding to my 50 messages. First of all, no, not 50, but I've never said that. I've said to you many times that like I feel like you're just being dismissive of what I said here or my concerns. I feel really belittled. Or like the time when I tried to have a conversation with you and you called it a brainless take.
Okay, hold on. So let me. First of all, this is like one of the first conversations we had. So let me read this. Like for example, what you're doing right now what you're doing right now exhibits a massive sense of entitlement, saying that if I decide I don't want to talk to you for a bit, then it counts as stonewalling. That's kind of a manipulative way to force me to have a conversation that I might not.
I mean, if she brings up something that's concerning to her and he stops talking to her right then, yeah, that feels like you're punishing somebody for speaking up, which I would say generally would constitute like an abusive behavior. You're trying to train a person to not criticize you, saying, okay, if you're gonna say something that I don't want to hear, I don't want to deal with your feelings. So if you say something about your feelings and I don't like it, then I'm done talking to you for like a week. That's pretty abusive. That's pretty manipulative, I'd say. It always comes off to me as like you're training the person, and if that's especially if that's consistent, I would say that this is like really bad.
Really willing to have. And then, wait, can I finish just reading? So this is where you said this. Then you said, no, this isn't manipulation or a sense of entitlement because stonewalling is abusive behavior that causes harm.
Wait, she just said she didn't want to leak DMs, and now he's reading off DMs. He's leaking the DMs himself. Professional world does this too in different ways. Yeah. I don't think he should be reading DMs.
It's simply asking to not be stonewalled. If you read the article, it makes it clear that it's not stonewalling to let the person know you need a break from the conversation for X many hours. I understand how it can seem that way, though, yeah. And then I said taking time to wait to have a conversation is not stonewalling, not being...
In order to insulate the hierarchy from criticism, yeah, of course. Whenever you're in a professional setting, when you try to criticize somebody who's above you, like the unspoken rule is that this just isn't allowed. And they'll try to pull a bunch of bullshit to say that like you're doing something else. And it's just to protect them from having their feelings hurt because they're the boss.
Being comfortable responding when I wake up to 25 messages from you is not stonewalling.
Right, exactly. I agreed.
I see this a lot when companies have open door
with
policies.
that. And I said, that's why I asked you. That was one of the boundaries I asked for. Like, I said, Steven, if you want to take a break, like, or like you don't, you can't respond today, whatever, just let me know. Please just let me know. You never did that.
Your next message to me is, I understand that. I was scared you were just going to blah, blah, blah. Okay, if my call-outs of your behavior were about deflecting criticism, then why would I hold myself to these same standards too? Like, I am equally responsible for not stonewalling someone. The article makes it clear that just suddenly walking away from a conversation or the middle of an argument is stonewalling. Letting the person know you need to walk away for however long is not stonewalling. What is a sense of entitlement is believing that you can treat people however you want and their feelings are of little concern to you. This is how narcissists live their lives. And then you say, in
Yeah, that sounds right.
parentheses, that's not directed at you. I just mean in general.
Right.
That sounds
That's
correct.
why I said that. So it's not directed at you.
Then why would you bring it up in a one-on-one conversation about my behaviors?
So that you understand.
This feels like an emotional torture stream. I can't stand it. Yeah, it should have ended a while ago. This stream is irresponsible of Destiny to continue. Like I was on a panel a while ago, and it was about women, and one of the other streamers, it was like about how women get treated in Twitch space, and one of the other streamers who was on like the side of like, no, it's men that are actually the ones that get treated bad. They had brought up some personal stuff that they dealt with recent, like within the maybe in a broader sense, like somewhat recently, and how they just felt like they didn't get any support or anything like that, and they were using it as an argument against like the main idea that women are treated worse in like Twitch poll. But they kept going on and on. Whenever somebody would try to like move past it, they kept bringing it back up, and you could tell they were getting more and more they weren't okay about it, the thing that had happened to them, and they kept bringing it back, and I was like, all right, I've never done this before, but I'm gonna end stream. So I left the panel, and I just told my stream, like, I don't feel comfortable with this. I'm gonna reach out to them on my own. I tried to talk to them, and I did. But there's a certain point where just showcasing somebody not being able to deal with something becomes bad. Like, by continuing to showcase it, I feel like this is a contributing factor to abuse. And I'm not just I guess I'm bringing this up because, like I'm saying, I'm not pointing the finger at Destiny and then being in a situation where this could come up and not acting the way that I'm advocating for. This is how I acted in that situation. And I did also do my best to reach out to the person one-on-one to try to see if there was anything I could do too. I think that Destiny's being pretty irresponsible with this.
Understand how serious it is.
You said, I'm sorry if I hurt you when I said you had narcissistic tendencies. Sometimes it really seems like you do, but that could just be your attachment style.
Right. Yeah.
Emery says, I pray that I never emotionally torture my partner like this. This is actually disturbing to me. It's part of the problem. When you're in a close relationship, part of the difficulty in not being abusive towards your partner is that oftentimes it happens when you're hurt. And when you're hurt, it's really easy to feel justified in doing what you're doing. Like I myself have said and done things in fights like with my wife where like afterwards I'm like, I'm sorry, hey, this wasn't right. I shouldn't have done that. But in the moment, if you feel I felt totally justified. And sometimes I even feel like, hey, I'm protecting myself right now. You're hurting me so much that like I need to say or do something that's really mean to make you stop and shut you up, because like I'm like if I get up and try to leave the room, like, all right, we're bumping into a boundary here. This isn't gonna stop, so I'm gonna remove myself from the situation. And like if you're followed and like you can't escape it, sometimes it feels like the only thing you can do is to say something hurtful or even abusive to just make it stop. And it's not right, but I think that it can be understandable. I think it's really lost in these spaces, the ability to say what you did is bad, what you did is abusive, but it's understandable. The important part of this is that you learn from it. And I understand that it could still happen again, But this is something that needs to get better. If it does happen again, it needs to not be as bad each time that it happens. This is something that you need to pay close attention to. Because if we're not learning from it, this is when I would say this is abusive and it's bad, and you're being bad for it. You're not getting any better with it. I threatened divorce once. I'm a monster, and my wife is a saint to not hold it against me. I apologize even to this day for doing it. This is one of those things where I'd say this is bad, but given certain context, it can be understandable. I would never advocate for somebody to do it, but just because somebody does it doesn't mean I'm going to demonize them for it either. We're animals, and if somebody hurts us, we usually have an instinct to hurt back. But said it's recognizing it and working on it so that if it does happen again, it's not as bad, and hopefully it doesn't happen as often. I think that's all you can really ask from people. Because most of this stuff is built upon habits or even like our instinctual responses. So we just have to, I would say the thing that's your responsibility to do is to seek to do better and not accept it as just, it's just how I am. That is the mindset of somebody who is truly abusive. Well, that's just how I am.
Steven, do you okay, so wait, can we go back to what we were talking about? I feel like you're kind of spiraling into this.
Condemnably
Okay,
abusive.
so remember that, like, I remember how I asked you. Well, okay, first of all, did you
Great
read the
advice,
article
thank
I
you.
sent you about the silent treatment thing?
Probably not, because I don't think there's any new information in that article for me.
Well, I thought it was really valuable because it shows that you
That makes sense. I didn't read it because I probably already know everything in it.
can use the silent treatment by not refusing to respond to text messages. It's
I'm sure that you
literally-
can, but I don't think it's reasonable to respond to text messages when I wake up and I have 25 messages from you. I don't even know where to start to respond.
That's not what I expected. I just felt like,
Oh, he's still
being-
doing that. In the last stream, I pointed out well, she pointed out, and we talked about it, that when there's a multitude of messages from her like that, it could just be like 2 or 3 messages that she just typed out in the way that she thought. That where if it was just like, here's a thought, here's a thought, here's a thought. These are like 3 different messages, but the number that you read on your phone is like 25. That's how Facebook Messenger is for me when I'm talking to somebody, line by line, or like even Discord. A great example, Tuna. When Tuna sends me a message, a lot of times it'll look like this, where it could have just looked like this, but this is how he talks or he types the way that he talks and thinks, so it comes out like this. Oh, let me turn to the camera. This looks like 20 messages. If it was just boiled down to a number, but it's really just 1. And that was addressed. And the fact that he's still framing it as 25 with no acknowledgement of this is manipulative, because this has been acknowledged by both sides already. I hate that kind of behavior when I'm trying to talk to somebody. We've already agreed that this is what's happening. To reframe it as the thing that it was initially brought up as, that we've both concluded isn't really like that, that's fucked up, especially if there's other people watching.
ignored like for an entire day.
That's for the audience. That kind of rhetoric, that's to convince the audience of something.
Like when it was always when you were irritated with me. Like that's the abusive thing.
Because when you feel like I'm irritated, you send me like 25 messages. And also, you've used stonewalling in a lot of different contexts before. Even when I've told you, for instance, I literally said, here's another conversation. We're looping. Let me know if you ever want to have a third party that you want to mediate this conversation. I say that explicitly to you. I don't want to have this conversation. And you said, can you stop stonewalling?
He didn't say that. He just said, I said explicitly that I don't want to have this conversation with you. That's not what he just read to us. Hear that
me
again.
to me, literally. And also,
thing.
because when you feel like I'm irritated, you send me like 25 messages. And also, you've used stonewalling in a lot of different contexts before. Even when I've told you, for instance, I literally said, here's another conversation. We're looping. Let me know if you ever want to have a third party that you want to mediate this conversation. I say that explicitly to you. I don't want to have this conversation. And you said, can you...
When you say, I say that explicitly, it means that those are the words that you said. He did not say that explicitly. He said that we can bring another person into this private conversation if you want. That's not, and if she doesn't want that, that's not the same as what he's claiming it is.
You stop
At all.
stonewalling me and listen. I'm pretty sure in the same conversation you say multiple times when I don't want to have this conversation that me choosing not to is stonewalling. What you just said wasn't stonewalling in the article that you linked me a few days later when you say, oh, well, saying you want to walk away and talk about it later or not talk about it isn't stonewalling. So like you use
That
stonewalling.
isn't what he did, though. That isn't what he did. In fact, saying that if you want to have a third party come in to talk about this, that could almost be interpreted as like a threat. Saying if you want to make this not private anymore, I'd be happy to. Like I don't know who decides who the third party is. If it's him, then this feels very much like a veiled threat. Then
Anytime I'm just not responding to all of your messages.
it's a little vague though.
I sent you.
this
No, the article
solid
says
statement
it makes it very clear that when there's a conflict, and if you don't if you just don't say anything, like you're supposed to ask to take a break and be like, okay, we'll finish it. Like we'll get back to this conversation, but I need a break for like an hour or something. But like when you just walk away and it's like you leave the person hanging, like, wait, what's going on? Like, are we gonna finish this conflict?
Do
or
you
not?
think
Like,
I'm
that-
curious? Do you think it might be abusive or overwhelming to message
He's still not responding.
somebody 25 times before they've responded to
No. They already did this. To use to divert from what she's saying here and then to come back to the 25 messages thing when way prior it's already been established that it's not really like that. You can call it that, and when you call it that, it makes it look a lot worse than what it actually is. But I was already upset about that. That's already bad to me. That's already like infuriating to me. But then to try to use that in this way, this is shit. I really hate this. I would say that this is extremely manipulative. Now, I have like I don't know what you call that. It's like when you watch a movie and you're like embarrassed for the person, but instead of being embarrassed, I'm angry.
single time?
I mean, I think it's overwhelming. Yeah, it's just can you please just focus on this, please, Steven? Please.
Focus
I
on
know.
what part? Well, you're upset that I'm not like responding to certain messages, but you are literally overwhelming me with messages for weeks.
Well, why didn't you just say that? Why did remember I asked
I'm
you?
sorry. I didn't think I would. Honest to God, Anna, this is my fault. It didn't even cross my mind that I would have to tell somebody that getting like 25 messages every 6 or 7 hours from somebody is a little bit much.
You understand? This is what I feel is unfair. Do you understand that? I only ever did that when there was conflict and you were purposely like you were stonewalling and giving the silent treatment. That makes people anxious, Steven. That does. That's what happens.
You wanted to say something, Lannis. What's up?
Yeah, I think anxiety is a big player here, and I think
Jesus.
anxious behavior can be not that you're being abusive, Anna.
Can't handle how frail she sounds. It's tough to talk to somebody who is this emotional, but he's willing to have the talk. So that's just sort of what he signed up for here. The content he makes is cancer. The title should be "Watch Me Destroy My Ex in a Debate About Our Personal Relationship with Facts and Logic." Except for my previous sexual partner, which might even be worse sounding title.
But anxious behavior can come off as very abusive.
Yeah, it can.
But if it was going to be an honest one, it would be like "Watch Me Destroy My Previous Sexual Partner" in a debate where I reframe agreements to pre-agreement status and dodge a lot of criticisms. And beat her over the head with facts and logic that aren't always relevant to the conversation.
And I think
But-
there's a lot, you
Yours is way more clickable.
feel a lot of anxiety
The honest one's not very clickable.
in a lot of these situations. And, a couple times tonight you've talked about things that you maybe forgot you said, or that, maybe in the moment you were feeling particularly maybe anxious or something. but you said something that was a little abusive or a little against what your own standards of good behavior.
Yeah.
And I think that the way Destiny interprets those kinds of behaviors, and Stephen, you can correct me if I'm wrong, is that he's very put off by them.
Yeah.
He creates distance from them.
This, like the laughing and stuff while it's happening, I don't know how he's not just like encouraging Anna to like freak out by doing that. Like if she can see him, that's really bad. Like even though she can't, I think it helps the audience like hear everything that's being said through a very specific lens because we can all see him, which is a bit unfair. But if Anna can see it, then it's really bad.
And so if you continue to do them, right? If you continue to do them in a cycle, that to
Crazy Stalker gets BTFO'd live on stream.
me looks a little bit like a cycle of an unhealthy,
Exactly.
abusive.
I absolutely agree with you. Yeah, that's what the research shows. But the problem is that it's both people's responsibility. Like both
Yes.
people have equal responsibility.
That's the title of this stream if Destiny had a time machine.
Yes.
No.
I think. Well, hold on.
Sorry.
Hold on.
Wait.
Destiny.
I don't.
No.
That no was too good of timing.
Hold on. Well, hold on, Destiny. Hold on. So I think that
Jesus.
people have an equal responsibility to.
Can you guys still hear Linus if I have it turned down like that? I turned it up to hear them initially, but then when Destiny talks, it's very loud in my ears.
Like talk about and address these things.
Yeah.
But I don't know that the way that you want them addressed is the way to like in my opinion. I would simply like stop talking to someone
Cool.
who is really anxious towards me because I can't like personally I just don't deal with it very well.
Yeah.
So I would create distance there.
Sure. And you don't
I feel like that was the criticism for Destiny.
Don't deal with it very well.
Yeah.
So I would create distance there.
Sure. And you don't have a responsibility to remedy that person's anxiety.
No,
Right.
No, I
Okay,
don't think
so
you do.
but you're not seeing that
That's
like
true.
this is a pattern though. Like it's a pattern like that both people are responsible for, and this is even what I
No.
learned. Like, yeah, this is.
No.
I will link you articles.
No, it's not an article thing, Anna. Stop saying you're going to link articles.
You're not believing me though.
Because this is a conversation. We don't need articles for this. I do not have a responsibility to fix your anxiety. I would never sign up for that.
But I don't get like this except when I'm experiencing like the silent treatment, and that's what I explained to you.
If this is how he argued with Melina in heated arguments, there's no fucking wonder she wanted to kill herself. Thank God he escaped. She escaped. I hope not. But also, to be clear, the way that you would argue with somebody that you were having a casual sexual relationship with, and the way that you would argue with your wife, I would expect the arguments with your wife to be like more serious, because it seems like Destiny doesn't have like a ton of emotional investment in people that he sleeps with, and so I would expect things to be on both sides just like a lot more messy than how you would have these kinds of disagreements with somebody that you don't have a huge emotional investment in. Don't understand how someone can engage with someone and take zero responsibility like this. That is weird. I guess you could, I mean, like, it's because of the audience, right? If you take any responsibility, then you're gonna have to deal with it. It's not just like taking responsibility in an interpersonal relationship where it's like a good thing for both parties. If somebody does, ultimately, if you take personal responsibility in a situation like this, this gets to get used against you like forever and ever. And that part is probably more of a critique on how we engage with online personalities more than on the individual. I would like to see Destiny do that as a standard of like what should be done, what ought to be done. But I think there's like a reasonable amount of fear that prevents that if you're this public. So I would say definitely a critique on the space. It's hard for me to fault somebody for not wanting to deal with taking responsibility for like forever.
Like, that's why I made the boundary about...
No, you never got the silent treatment. Your
People online
problem
are
was that I
vicious.
didn't talk to you for a specific 24 hours while I was on an international trip that fed right into a 3-hour sponsored stream.
Steven, that's not what I'm talking about. That's not the context. There were so many other...
This was the very first moment when it jumped off the bridge. Because right up until that moment, we were fine. But once that started, it was like, oh, holy shit. This person has massive problems that I don't want any responsibility over.
No, that's not what that means, Steven. I just got upset. And I told you that, and I apologize.
When most people get upset, they don't message somebody nonstop for weeks.
Steven, you kept on doing evasive maneuvers and avoidant tactics.
No, in the first and the initial day, I actually responded.
It's so weird. I put I put it out there about this stream on Twitter, and I always forget, except for like once in a great while they'll respond to something I wrote. The head of operations of Odyssey, the streaming and like platform, like kind of like YouTube cloney website, follows me on Twitter. It always catches me off guard. But I'm appreciative though. Yeah, we have a culture of placing ownership of problems onto others. Yeah, it's and like this is like a pretty known issue too, that like there's no way to come back from it. So like it would be much and that's part of the problem too, is that I would be able to criticize Destiny a lot more directly if we didn't have a culture like this online. So in a sense, we're actually doing a disservice to the people that we think are being hurt by other people, because who in their right mind would possibly admit to doing anything wrong, knowing the risks of doing that? We are, in a sense, hurting the people we're trying to protect by having these kinds of strong and long-lived responses to people doing something wrong.
To every single thing. We can go back and look at it, but we had a whole conversation back and forth.
And you were still being
I get it. I know I'm fat. My wife just finished dinner. When I came home, I just ate something because I hadn't eaten all day. So I'm eating again. I'm gonna turn off my camera for a few.
cold and like detached and like dismissive of everything. And it
Because
was
I
so-
didn't agree with the way that you read the situation. And I wasn't going to sit there and let you tell me that I was being abusive. You're saying that it's abusive for me to not agree with your analysis, that I'm being an abusive or cold or disrespectful person.
We just look this. We just can't. We're just too different. You know. It's okay. I just want to stop now. Okay. There's no way that we can resolve this. We are just very different. We have very different perceptions and different boundaries and different needs, and that's okay. All right.
The stream continues for a while, so I'm curious. She did say I want to stop now. This is the thing that has been cited and agreed by both of them is the right thing to do. Well, it seems like he agreed. He just contested that that's what had happened when on the stonewalling article thing. So she's saying that hopefully he lets it end here, and then it's just
That's
him
okay.
talking.
Like, but it's just like we just have different views, and that's okay. Like we're just way too different. You know, we clash. I think that's really what this is. Like, it's okay, because you can work with other people. You know, like you can work with other people, and I can like work with other people as well, and not have these problems. But it seems like it's just you and I together. Like we don't mix, and we just can't really be friends. It seems like.
Will you be willing to give the battery back?
Shut the fuck up, Dan. You're so fucking stupid.
Oh wait, you want it back? That's fine. I don't mind.
No.
Well, he was asking about it before.
No, I wasn't, you fucking idiot.
What are you saying?
Nothing. Dan is being a dumb fuck right now.
I don't understand what's going on.
I feel bad for laughing. That is funny. But also Dan's an asshole.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Dan is
it's
being
just
cringe
making-
as fuck.
Cringe jokes.
Yeah, I'm sorry. That was uncalled for.
Wait, why'd you tell him that?
Why did you tell him that, Steve?
What? Because when I went to visit Dan in Florida afterwards, I had my backpack with me, and I was missing the big laptop battery that Dan gave me. Dan asked me where it was, and I said that I'd given it away to somebody. And then he asked me who, and then I told him I gave it to you. That's why Dan was asking about it now. And he made fun of me because I gave my big battery away because I didn't need it anymore.
Well, normally when you give something away, it kind of means something.
Sorry. Okay.
I'm sorry.
Are we done with this conversation?
Yes.
Okay, well,
It should end now.
I think that we have come to a good part in the thing here. I think both of you kind of understand that moving
Yeah.
forward, there shouldn't be any additional relationship, friends or not, just nothing, no conversation, no nothing. You're incompatible. It's not going anywhere. There's no future. There's no hope.
I guess so.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's
Actually, unequivocally true. That would be best.
quite clear at this point. So I think for probably both of your sanity,
But
yeah,
I
you
think
should
it's really
cease
unfair,
all.
though, that you've like judged me as being like unstable and stuff. It just is really unfair. It's also like really abusive too.
I don't think any of my analysis is abusive. I think most people would agree that you seem to be relatively unstable in regards to how you approach these types of things. I think that's a totally fair assessment by me.
Jesus Christ. That's fucked.
No, it's not. Like,
Especially when you obsessively remind me about how you're a securely attached person and I'm a dismissive avoidant, and you've gone through all the psychology tests and you don't have any psychological.
It is really weird when somebody, like, with Destiny's saying, like, the thing that you do, the worst thing you do to me is tell me about the ways in which I hurt you. That's pretty weird.
disorders and blah blah blah, and I have all these subclinical traits and blah blah blah. Like,
you're crazy making by trying to convince me that I do have that. I mean, I see
everything
it
I
there.
just said are things you've literally said before. I didn't.
My thinking is healthy. Like, I'm pretty sure she'd point it out if it wasn't. I've talked with her about this.
Well,
And
if
she's
you,
agreed.
if you ever want to, there's no possible way that any therapist in their right mind would say that your behavior during all of this is healthy. It is.
Are you gonna come talk to her? Are you gonna come talk to my therapist with me, Steven?
I would literally, I would fly there to do it. Yes, I would.
Whoa.
100%. I would 1,000,000% do that.
I don't think that's gonna.
That's
help.
not a good idea.
I would be there.
Steven,
tomorrow.
stop. Listen to me. Okay, you guys have made
There's
very clear progress. You guys are not compatible. You should not talk to each other. It's a toxic relationship. There's no future.
It's just like
Dan's 100% on
I mean,
point here.
now you've like basically like made me seem like a crazy person. Like,
no,
I mean,
you've made yourself seem like a crazy person.
Oh,
I've
come
just
on.
described some of your behaviors.
like this was all supposed to be private. I mean,
I asked you.
That's pretty
first
bad
of all.
faith response.
First of
All
all,
I-
no.
like,
Wait, you have multiple times. You've told me multiple times that you would talk about it on stream, and I asked you if you wanted to earlier today, and you said yes. You even said I need 30 minutes to prepare my notes.
I'm not talking about today, Steve. I'm talking about all of this, like all the issues, like when all the issues started. Like I just thought that you'd come and say to me, like even fucking yell at me. I don't care. Come yell at me if it's like you saw something that you didn't like. Like come
I'm
yell
not
at me.
gonna
Like
yell at you. I'm not gonna
"What
yell
are you
at you.
doing?" Don't say that shit on your stream, and then I would have been like, oh shit, okay, yeah, no, you're right.
No, but
Like,
the problem is once you've made things public, the damage is already done. I have no interest in yelling at you over anything.
They're both fighting about public image. Oh, this is awful. Yeah. I think I'm sympathetic towards both of theirs. Destiny, because he has such a big platform and community that like a small stand can become really big. But Anna, because she doesn't have a lot, you could ruin her chances of like growing. I've watched Anna streams before. They're like kind of cutesy and stuff. I don't know if I can still find. I think it's gone now because it's too old. I had a clip of her that I clipped when I was watching her. She was playing some game. Somebody said something about Nazis. She goes, "Nazis are ridiculous. Oh my god." So there are some gems.
I didn't make anything public. I kept denying it.
When
I
you
kept denying it.
Okay, so
I
here's
kept finding out.
here's a little bit of pediatric psychology. If a child drops something or does something wrong, and you look at the child and you go, "Oh,"
She said she didn't want to talk anymore. Destiny should end this.
don't do that. What are you actually saying to the child? You're reinforcing the behavior because you're giving the child the response that it wants. Just because you say no doesn't mean that's how people are going to take it. And in the clip that I'm referring to, that is exactly how people would have taken it, the exact same way.
How is that my fault that people didn't believe me?
Because you have a responsibility when you communicate things, understand how people are going to interpret things.
But how does that mean I
Depends on what you're talking about. I don't know if that's true. In the instance he's talking about.
Out everything.
Because I have to protect myself. I can't have a person that is saying incredibly nasty things about me to other people on the platform. Like your conversation with Waffles, who I don't think I've had any negative experience with ever. I've never hit on her, never tried anything sexual, anything weird like that. For you to be having like conversations, making me out with this horrible fucking person, and I'm like watching this all unfold on stream, of course I have to come out and give my side of the story. Otherwise I look like this horrible abuser behind the scenes. Yeah, of course I have to come. It's protecting myself.
Steven, what are you saying? I didn't say anything to her. What are you saying?
I'm literally watching, dude. I'm getting fed so many clips that people are farming from your stream about you talking about me to these other people on your stream. I'm literally watching it. What do you mean?
What do you mean? I said, like, the thing about, yeah, I know, I said the 2 things. I know.
I mean, I don't know how many things you said. I know I've been shown 2 things, but in like 2 days. So
Wait, so did she say anything to Waffles or no? That evaporated fast.
like what? Like, are you just gonna keep going on and on and on? Like,
But I never leaked anything. I was always clear that we were just friends.
I don't agree. I don't think so. I think that at least one of your clips like looked pretty leaky, but
He just changed it to one of your clips looked pretty leaky. That's interesting.
I mean, I feel like you could say that about me posting that picture on Instagram because then I got harassed with all these people asking me about it too. But like, I didn't think that was a leak.
that was your decision to post a picture on Instagram. What do you mean? That's not my fault. You wanted a picture. I said, yeah, we can take a picture, and then you posted on Instagram. That's not on me. What do you mean?
I didn't think.
So he said I came here for the checkers conversation. Is that Chinese checkers or imperial rules? I was gonna wait till I was done with this, so that way I could have some people here for it. I am gonna talk about checkers.
That was leaking that we were like.
No, that's not leaking anything. I'm talking about things
I
you
wanted to
said on
bait
stream.
people in with the
But I never
Destiny Anna
leaked
stuff
anything.
and make them hear
Okay.
the checker stuff against their will.
I don't understand how you could really how you could see it like that. I never leaked anything.
I think
I
when
was
you're
always
on
clear
a
and
pub
sure.
when you're on a public platform, how you say things and how other people interpret them and understanding how they're going to interpret them is really important. And it sounds like you might have some trouble in interpreting how the toxic nature of Twitch chat might interpret something. Because it's usually more toxic than not.
Yeah. But like, I don't think it's. I just wish you had told me that, Steven. I just wish you had told me that, like, it wasn't things weren't really private. If I had known that, I never would have started any relationship with you.
I mean, things were relatively.
Destiny seems to project his manipulative ways of handling people back into everybody else. He tends to make women cry on stream and then pretend as if they're doing it on cue to garner sympathy. His chat certainly seems to think so. I'll give you that.
Private until you started making things public. I mean, what?
I didn't make anything public, though.
Okay.
I mean, I like made it, like I sometimes mentioned our friendship, but like I don't think that's leaking anything more than like I thought. It's okay. Like friendship, yeah, sure.
Okay, gotcha. Well, do we have anything else that we need to say here?
I just wish you had told me that, like you weren't trustworthy, basically. I just wish you would.
Yeah, you and me both, sister. Trust me on that one.
We're all there.
Wait, I missed that. What'd she say?
Trustworthy, basically.
Oh gosh.
Um,
Pardon me.
I just wish you had told me that, like you weren't trustworthy, basically. I just wish you would.
Yeah, you and me both, sister. Trust me on that one.
We're all there.
It's kind of cruel to laugh at her.
Feels like there's like no understanding or anything.
I think I
Like,
have. I think I have phenomenal
Oh.
understanding. I think I've been more than accommodating. I think I've been more than understanding. I think that I've tried my hardest.
You've been absolutely horrible about this.
Well, I know you feel that way now, but I have been more tolerating of your behavior than any other person you'll ever find, except for incredibly desperate people in your entire life.
Okay. That's a really weird framing. Uh, that's that's a really manipulative statement. That's weird.
So, but I mean, obviously we're never gonna agree on that. Yeah.
I have a question. Because this is kind of at the end, so it's not a huge deal or anything. Why is it that you did not want to talk with Melina at all and basically threatened to leave if she was brought in?
Wait, why? Dan, that's totally not relevant.
He does, but to be fair, women do cry more, and it shows, and it is how you handle that which matters more. Destiny's outstanding, understanding is like very manipulative words. Yeah. Yeah. Even if so, there is an inherent level of manipulation that happens if you're talking to a woman that, especially if you're in a relationship, and they cry. It's not. They can genuinely be crying. They can be overwhelmed with emotion and cry the same way everybody cries. That's not like a manipulation tactic. And it is going to alter how you feel about the situation. I've had it to where if I bring up certain problems with my wife and she cries, I told her, like, it makes me really mad when you cry whenever I try to talk about these things, because it makes me feel like I can't talk about it. I'm saying, now that wasn't me saying like you can't cry, but it serves to inform where the limitations of my expression come into play during these conversations, because it happens so often. I think there's a healthy way to address that, and then there's the really unhealthy ways, which is like, like crocodile tears, things like that. Yeah, Emery was calling him manipulative. I was just addressing the crying thing.
Fuck off.
Oh, okay. Well, I
Because,
mean,
I mean, I have no, like,
Yeah,
I
those
don't
tacos were
know her
fire.
at all. I have no relationship with
but
her
you have
at
no
all.
relationship with me. You had no problem with me being in here or Linus. It
I do
felt
have
like
a
that.
problem with you being in here, but it seems like, I mean, that's not really my
Obviously, she has an issue with Dad being in there.
choice. It seems like you're not going away, so.
I see. Well, I just thought she might have some insight into this, but okay.
Also, I mean, I don't really feel like it's fair to, like, kind of be ganged up on by everyone, sort of. It just seems like, yeah.
Yeah, talking to two emotionally stunted middle-aged men is, as a
Hey.
very emotional person, is
Who
very,
you calling middle aged?
Steve, yes, right?
you know, 60s, these levels of stress. You got 60s about the end of the road, probably. It's 30, middle-aged.
I think I have taken a decent amount of what most people consider to be pretty abusive conversations, and I think I've handled it in stride. So you know what? I reject the emotionally stunted characterization. Fuck you.
Yeah, probably. I'm just.
I think that's really unfair to say.
Wait, I was joking, for the record. That
Oh, okay. Well, just wanted
that
to
wasn't
let the
a-
record reflect my true comments.
all right. I just, you know, I'm not.
So to be clear, Anna, are you kind of
We're
at it?
we're good.
You're,
We
you're
are
at it.
finished
You're
with this
good. You
conversation.
understand this is kind of the end of the relationship, the end of the road type of thing. You can move on. It'll probably be healthier for both of you. You understand?
Yeah, I think the misunderstanding came from because I read what Emery said, then I read what Cat Dog Bark said, and then I addressed the crying thing. So it might have sounded like I was not talking about what Emery said. But yeah, I think I understood that he was talking about Destiny.
Well, yeah, obviously, I mean.
Okay. I just want to be clear because
Yeah.
I'm concerned.
Sorry I was quiet for a minute. I'm trying to find somebody to do a somewhat regular show with. But my options of other streamers are pretty slim considering the subject.
That after this, that there's going to be a lot of DMs from you to Steven, essentially like, hey, sorry, it went this way, trying to rekindle things. This would be literally a right click on Steven's name and go to remove friend, no longer communicate type of thing.
Yeah. Yep, I know. Just it's just, I mean, I feel like you guys are still gonna like just like
Whenever somebody's like being mean to her or she's being really emotional, Destiny's laughing. Like, I feel like there's got to be another way he could do it to where it like still puts his audience on his side. But I guess this for me shows that what this is really about. It's for entertainment, for his audience, and he's like making a joke out of it. I think like we get what the purpose of this is. The purpose of this conversation for Destiny is not the same purpose that Anna has in this conversation at all.
talk shit about me though on stream and stuff, and I don't know.
Nope.
mean, that's
After tonight, we're completely moved on from this.
Yep.
Really?
The doll review is also an example of women crying. I also don't think it's intended to be manipulative there. Yeah, even when I said that too, in the back of my mind when I gave my take about the crying and how it can be manipulative and like how you can approach it, I imagined somebody in my comments of this video saying, well, what about the doll review? Are you saying that Mr. Girl is abusive? I thought of that immediately. There's a big difference between how you react in a deep interpersonal relationship when somebody cries and how you're reacting to somebody with an established relationship like Destiny and Anna have. And they're crying on stream live when there's people watching you live. These are very different. And knowing too that Shaylin could have asked to have that removed as well. The power of the camera that people suggest that there is in that is seriously limited, knowing that she does have editorial authority to remove her participation from it after the fact.
Unless you talk shit about me, then I'm gonna be abusive.
And I can make a prediction because I'm Nostradamus. You will talk shit about him. Guaranteed. I'd put money on it. You'll bring him up. Guaranteed. Without a doubt. 100%. And we will revisit this shortly. I will bet my children's life on it. That's how confident
God.
I am that you will bring this up on your next stream. Or maybe not the next one, but one after that. It will happen. So we will revisit it at that point. You could prove me wrong and have my children be, just saying. There's a lot of weight on you that you will bring this up, and it won't be Steven. I know Steven won't bring it up. And if people talk about it, he won't talk about it. In fact, if people bring it up and nothing's happened on your, he'll shut it down right there. Won't even say it. Move right the fuck on. But you make your own bed with this.
Now, I know DGG always says that's true, but I don't know how true that is. My dog brought me a donut. You want? Oh, wait, come here. Come here. Hey, come here. You're trying to do it yourself, but see. I know you have eyeballs. Here, go get it. You chill.
Wait, really? That's true though. Like you really won't say anything.
No,
You
people don't bring my shit.
I would say the doll review is an interesting case because there's an argument to be made whether or not Mr. Girl is being abusive to Shaylin in that video. Yeah, there's an argument to be made. People have made the argument to me a lot. That's probably the most debated topic surrounding Mr. Girl that I've had. I've debated the doll review a lot, probably more than Mr. Girl has at this point.
Shit up. I usually don't bring their shit up. I've had plenty of bad and good interactions with people that have never been brought up on my stream before because they've never said
I take that back. Definitely more than Mr. Girl has at this point.
shit about it.
Do you really think it's okay? I mean,
Do I really think it's what?
I'm not gonna be able to convince you that like
It's possible. Well, I think that there are certainly some degrees of abuse to be had on both parties there. However, it's never the way or to the degree to which people that I've talked to about it have said it is. I think that it's his most misunderstood and thought-provoking and interesting piece of work he's ever put out, even if it's not my favorite.
I'm not a
But
crazy
it is up there.
person.
I unironically think that you are one of the most insane people I've ever had a conversation with before. But
Jesus
there's no way that I can
Christ.
convince you of that. I don't know if you lie to your therapist about everything or if or if you even have one, I'm not actually even sure. But you have, yeah.
Don't start with that again. I just sent you proof. I literally sent you.
Can we call it mistreatment? We can call it whatever we want. But even if people change their language to that too, I would say the degree to which it suggested there's mistreatment is incorrect. And some of the things that people interpret as mistreatment, I would say, is not. At least that have been brought to me.
I literally had to send you screenshots of my freaking.
Yeah, I was curious if you actually had undergrad. I don't know if I'm more relieved that you actually do, or if I'm more terrified that you actually do. But
The biggest, the thing that I actually thought was abusive was when he called her a monster. That was fucked up. We need to do a tier list of Mr. Girl's projects. I could do that. Calling her a monster is abusive because he has personally found it to be extremely traumatic being called a monster throughout his life. At least insofar as he's expressed through his works. And redirecting that onto her in that moment was really bad. And I called him on that, and he agreed that it was wrong.
About my internship that's happening next semester, where, by the way, I'm getting
Oh yeah, there's no
clients.
domestic violence.
Yeah.
clients next semester. Holy
God help us.
shit.
Yeah. Maybe
You know?
you could actually consider that, like, maybe sometimes your behavior can impact other people in a certain way. Because I can consider that. Like, I can consider that. I know that, like, when you have people who, like, get, like, you know, it's that cycle of, like, demand withdrawal kind of thing. The more you nag, the more the other person pulls away. Like, I get that. I do get that. Like, but
The
maybe
reason why I think you are especially
also understand that the more the person withdraws, the more that, like, triggers the other person to kind of demand more. So it's like an equal cycle.
the reason why I think there's two reasons why I think you are especially unhinged. The first reason is that from the very first minor problem or disagreement that we had, you exploded into like storybook after storybook being hurled at me over the next week. Is number one.
So who's Mr. Girl sounds gay? Mr. Girl is kind of gay.
Number two is the fact that you what?
Like articles or whatever.
No, like 20 messages every single time I picked up my phone. There would be 25 more messages from like I knew your schedule maybe better than you did. I knew exactly when you woke up and I knew exactly when you went to sleep every night because you were messaging me every 20 to 30 minutes throughout the entirety of the day of you being awake.
No,
Yes.
that's not what happened.
Yes, for about a week. Yes, it did. We unless you've deleted everything, we can both go back and look through the messages every single day for like 1 to 3 weeks,
The constant,
nonstop.
the constant reframing of the amount of messages, like that's probably the thing that makes me the most mad about this whole thing. Like, I wish he could just say, blowing up my phone. Blowing up my phone works because even if it is, like, if the critique is that if you only have like 3 or 4 things to say throughout the day, type it all up and then send it so you're not blowing up my phone all the time, if that's the real issue. But to act like there's 25 separate things she's trying to say is just so dumb and dishonest.
Like I would wake up in the morning, I would check my phone, and I would look at Discord, and I'd have like, 27 missed messages. I wonder what happened last night. 3 people messaged me. One of them was you. It's another 23 messages.
Does he provide evidence of this claim? He just alludes to being able to. At least in this stream.
I was asleep for literally like 2 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, also, I guess, you know, I mean, I do admit, like, one of the things that I do have is, like, like, feeling like I need to really explain things. Like I really need to explain things. So then,
Wrong. That's not what was happening. In at least half of these messages, you were diagnosing and attacking my behaviors. Usually, this is how the pattern of your conversation would go. Steven, you said something and you heard me.
Wait, let me go back here.
Messages when I was asleep for literally like 2 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, also, I guess, you know, I mean, I do admit, like, one of the things that I do have is, like, like, feeling like I need to really explain things. Like I really need to explain things. So then,
Wrong. That's not what was happening. In at least
I don't know how he gets to say wrong. She's telling him how she feels about it. So he says wrong, and then he moves into a criticism that isn't that has nothing to do with whether she's what she said is right or wrong. Um, like this kind of rhetoric just comes off as like really dishonest to me. And I think if you're just watching this on the side, you're playing games and you're listening to it, you're at work and you're listening to it, these are going to be the kinds of things that you're not really going to pick up on. If he actually thought she was crazy, the ethical thing to do would be to block her and clarify to other people for the specific reason why she would have gone to other people about him instead. Yeah, I think this could have went over a lot more smoothly, ignoring what we know now. Is just say, hey, look, I hooked up with this chick. I don't really know it was gonna be like this. If she reaches out to you, just DM me about it. If you have any concerns, just DM me about it, please. And I can kind of let you know what was going on, what I think is happening here. I don't want to spend a lot of time talking about this, but her and I just feel differently about things. It's been kind of a rough bit. I don't really want to talk about it on stream. That's it. And if you do that, and people, unless she says something like, this man actually raped me or something like that, there's not a whole lot of reason to have to engage with it online. I think it makes you look really good. I think it makes you look like you took the high road. You're not going to engage with it. And then the more she goes on and on her streams and talking to other people, it would make her look bad. And if the other people continue to platform it without her providing any proof of the claims that she's made, then it makes them look really bad too. And then if they do that, he can just say, look, I'm not engaging with these people. That thing that I said that I was trying to keep private, they're going on and making it public, and there's really no evidence being given for any of this stuff, and they're just sort of signal boosting it. So I just don't want to engage with these people. They're taking my personal life and they're making it public in a way that I think is wholly inappropriate. But I want to respect everybody's privacy, and I don't, and I'm not going to address it in any other manner than this. This is the best way I think to handle it. If that's the kind of thing you value. If you value milking your own personal life drama for content, this is what that looks like.
Half of these messages,
It's not the way that he's describing it. The reason why he says he keeps engaging with it in it is bullshit. It's because this is good for views. That's it. I mean, it's really that simple. There are other ways to engage with it. Like I just gave a great example of it. If the real value was in trying to make sure that people don't make assumptions, he can just say, I'm not going to talk about it unless there's proof, unless there's any evidence given. And then if there's evidence and you want to contest the validity of the evidence, you can do that. But otherwise, the only reason to do this is to milk it for drama. I think that's
you
obvious.
are diagnosing and attacking my behaviors. Usually, this is how the pattern of your conversation
Normal social
would go.
order of speech isn't
Steven, you said
monetized.
something and you hurt me, and this is not fair,
Yeah.
and I don't like it.
Free speech
Also,
from the dollar.
because you're not responding to me, it's abusive. And I think you should know, based on this article and this article, that you are an incredibly abusive and manipulative person. And what you're doing is not right, and that's blah, 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 blah. And also,
Yeah, but that's sort of the nature of people, right? We vote with our dollar, and he has a lot of people that are voting for him to talk about this. Let me into your life and let me see all the nasty nitty gritty things that you deal with. Let me hear about the really weird and difficult interpersonal relationships you have, and we'll give you money. So like, I get it, but it comes in conflict when he's says the reason why he's addressing this is because he doesn't want people to like draw these kinds of conclusions and stuff. And even still, he doesn't have to have Anna on to do any of that, to squash what she's saying.
So I think that,
if it's untrue.
yeah, I'm sorry if I overreacted, but anyway, you're abusive, and here's another article about like the NPD, and this is the subclinical traits that you exhibit, blah, blah, blah. You need to stop stonewalling me. Like, this is like for days and days and days.
This hurts, and this is why, like, this is how this is really, like, it affects people's mental health, like, it affects my mental health, and this is, like, here's an article that shows why, and how, like, it's hurtful, like, that kind of thing.
Okay. Well, then my second huge problem is you say things and you genuinely have no idea how you can
Diego
say
Cat
such
Dogberg, I fixed
incredibly
it.
hurtful things to people, and you're just totally clueless about how the other people take them. That like you can like, for instance, and people have observed this behavior on stream, where you are like you are so shocked that after 2 conversations you've had on stream, everybody thinks that you fucking hate people that have sexual relationships like casually. But like every time you come on stream, like all you do is talk about how horrible it is, and the research shows, and blah 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 blah, over and over and over and over and over again. And on our personal conversations, all you do is you link article after article about how casual sex is only dark triad people do this. It's manipulative. It's selfish. Blah 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 blah. And then you're like, I don't know why people think I look down on people that have casual sex.
Nobody would. Okay, maybe some people have come to that. Okay, well, so maybe some people have come to that conclusion, but I mean, I'm pretty careful about it. Like, I read out the articles. Like, I read out articles from psychologists that are written by psychologists. Like, that's generally what I try to do, because sometimes they don't phrase things very well. But like, I've never had anyone tell me that, like,
The article. That's all.
it looks like I hate people who
When I was having a conversation with you, when we disagreed about our, when I was having a conversation with you related to domestic violence, and I was telling you, I was recalling my experience with Rachel when she was physically abusive towards me, and I told you I had to call the police 3 times to remove her from my house. You said, "Oh, well, that's probably because you abused her first." You said that, and then you went on and you said emotional abuse is oftentimes worse than physical abuse.
Oh no!
And then you also went on and you said that usually in these abusive relationships,
Every protest that she's made, he's paused, given her a chance to start to object, and then talked over her right away.
when the women hit the guy started by being emotionally abusive. Do you remember this, or do you want me to go back and read it to you?
Steven, do you remember when we you actually you freaking admitted to me that you were like, yeah, I think I misinterpreted that actually. So now you're like going back on that, huh? Because that's not what I did. No.
I'm inclined to believe her here because of the 25 messages thing.
You remember you even said to me, you were like, yeah, I realized I was being uncharitable. Like when we met, you said that about that exact conversation.
Wow, gas walling is killing it in the polls. Last time there was a poll in there, there was 2 options, Steven or Steven. As surprised everybody Steven won.
You know why I said that? Because I'm a compassionate human being that was trying to like maximally give you the benefit of the doubt. You know, I was trying to be as charitable as possible to what you were saying. But any other human being that would go back and read through those messages would be like, holy shit, like this girl is fucking...
Because I'm a compassionate and understanding human being who will agree with you in private, and then when it comes back up, I'm going to reframe that situation and wholly disagree with it without giving you the heads up that I no longer agreed with that. So I'm going to let you walk headfirst into this sort of trap where you think we have an understanding, but we don't. And then you're going to look really stupid in front of my audience.
Going in on you.
No, that's not true. I mean, oh my God, you're twisting it, Steven.
Like, it's the same thing as the 25 messages. And to try to use that as a way to show that, like, you did something good is... I had lost my fucking mind. I think Anna's keeping it together pretty good in response to that, to be honest.
I feel like I'm just very like emotionally burnt out. Like,
She did already say she wanted to leave.
don't you remember that I said
She should have left.
hold on one second.
He should have ended the call.
It was that I said, oh, they probably, because you were saying about how, you know, they didn't take you seriously, and then I said, scratch marks usually indicate, like scratch marks tend to be taken as defensive wounds.
Okay,
Remember?
wait.
You think Anna's keeping it together well, and it should have ended? Yeah.
Sure. Let's just read. So we're talking about generally like domestic abuse, domestic violence, bit of stuff, and I say
It would be really cool for him. Like, I feel like as this has gone on, he's cut her off more and more. Maybe that's just my perception. Does it seem like that to you guys? Because I feel like the longer this goes on, the less Anna gets to say anything.
Generally, men have a really hard time being taken seriously when it comes to domestic abuse. Yeah, it's a really big problem in domestic abuse environments. And you said it's a problem, yes.
I would have gone full 8-bone on Destiny if we were in person and made him submit. Dude, like, I was thinking in the back of my head, like, I'm like really non-violent, but I'm pretty sure I would have like been like slamming my hand down on the table and stuff. Like, I'd be really close to just like losing it if I had like this much like if I had this much at stake like emotionally to where I couldn't just like say like, yeah, it's no big deal, whatever. We just disagree, and like the reframing of things that were agreed upon, just keep happening like that over and over again. Like that kind of stuff. It's just like it makes me sick. I just can't fucking deal with it. It's like I don't have the right words for it. I always feel so betrayed by the person because it lets me like emotionally advance how I feel about things. I feel like something's settled and I have like this comfort about a certain misunderstanding. And then as we progress through with this understanding having been had and then find out that it's not, everything that we just built on top of it gets taken away then. And it's the worst feeling. So like, wait, then everything else that we talked about, all that's invalid too now? Like all like the like progress that we made through this conversation means nothing then? Like, and if they don't fess up to that, like I don't know what we're doing anymore. That's how you make somebody feel completely lost. And it's that's like not in the way Anna's saying. I'm like, that's actually crazy making. That's how you actually make somebody go crazy.
Yes, but then
It's
oddly,
very
women also have the same
unfair
problem, but with being believed.
and
Men are
manipulative.
believed, but their pain is minimized. Mostly it's women who fight back that have the hardest time, though. And then I said, sure, I don't know what that has to do with what I said, though.
I want to caveat that not everybody does that. Who does that is being manipulative. I think some people just have poor communication skills, or they did agree, and then they switch and not really realize it or something. I guess let me rephrase it. Or they're just sometimes it happens because people are dumb too, but it's no less infuriating.
I called the police 3 times to have Rachel removed from the house when she would start attacking me. Even though she fled the house every time, when the police showed up, they always placed the blame on me. They were always asking what I was doing to provoke her attacking me, or if I cheated or insulted her or something like that, etc. Basically, every time they showed up, I got blamed for attacking me, even if I was bleeding from her nails. And then you responded, that's actually ... kind of rare. You know that? Like, I've seen the research on this, and women get arrested way more for domestic violence than ever before. Oh, nail scratch injuries tend to be considered defensive injuries. Like, do you understand what you're implying there when you respond to me that way?
I understand why Dusty would feel that way from her. I'm probably gonna lead towards more that Anna was being a bitch by responding that way, but it could be her just trying to get him to understand where the police are coming from, so maybe he doesn't feel so like betrayed by their reactions to it. Because sometimes I do that too, even though I try to do that a lot less. People hate that. But her response seems exceptionally cold here.
Expressing my disbelief, like, wow, that's really rare. Holy shit. Like, that's what I was doing.
I have a hard time believing her there.
Like, that's the point. And you understand
She's probably just
that.
trying to be petty.
But the rest of your conversation
I think.
plays into me that I should have had more responsibility. Like, so we go over the whole experiments about how women aren't taken serious, or men aren't taken serious when they complain. You say, oh, those experiments are bullshit. They were like just YouTube video things. I don't know if those are super rigorous. And then, but then you say, and then, oh, hold on. I say, as long as you acknowledge that male violence is almost always in response to female violence, then, oh, I say this jokingly to you. So you say, yeah, no shit, they're treated with suspicion. Oh, wait, okay, hold on. Let me scroll up a little bit. So I say, it's generally... Hold on. I say it's generally accepted academically that men make up a large amount of domestic violence victims as well. Anywhere.
He's leaking again. Criticizing her for leaking, but he can dictate unilaterally what is and isn't okay to leak. This hurts any argument he has about her saying something that could lead people to maybe thinking something that they can't substantiate and calling that a leak. His argument feels extremely moot now that he can unilaterally decide what part of their DMs are okay to leak.
from 40 to 60%, I think, depending on what you look up, and it's generally accepted that it's either underreported or not taken very seriously. And you said, yeah, no shit, they're treated with suspicion. I was one of those people who worked at a DV agency and screened those men, and most were not victims. Anyways,
Squad W.
the problem is that research shows that women's violence is almost always in response to male violence. Like, and then I say snarkily in response to that, because holy fuck, I say, well, as long as you acknowledge male violence is almost always in response to female violence, then XD. And then you said, well, I mean, no, actually.
To be fair, it probably is the case that female violence is almost always in response to male violence. Most of the time, a woman isn't going to think that she has a chance at hurting the guy and getting away with it. So it would stand to reason, and I say get away with it, I mean get away with it without them responding with violence. So it stands to reason that it probably is the case that they're only going to do it in response to violence as a form of self-defense. Otherwise, there's probably like a huge disparity between the physical capabilities between the two, or they're off their fucking rocker.
I'll show you the research tomorrow. Also, men do have some more responsibility to not retaliate, since women are still the ones who get injured and killed way more.
Physically, I mean.
But do you not understand how, like, all of this is minimizing? Like, you later say, research shows that the majority of women who are abused hit first.
I encourage violence when you engage in conversation like this. Like Destiny or me? You might have to explain that one a little bit better.
And then I say, I'm not talking about women abused. I'm talking about men being abused. I've never seen anything that says that the men that get abused because they attack first. And you say, no, usually women hit first, but women tend to use minor moderate violence and men tend to use sexual violence and moderate severe. And then I agree, men tend to leave more lasting injuries, blah, blah, blah. And then I say, wait, what?
I think publicly putting it out there that women are the more likely to respond with violence first puts it into people's heads. I can put it into guys' heads that that they might have to strike first, prevent them from being violenced at.
I misread the context,
So,
and
yeah,
I
that
kind
could
of
be the
thought we were
case.
like having like a discussion, kind of, you know.
I'm literally
I didn't-
telling you about my personal experiences. Like, even when I go further, I say I never threw the first punch or hit at Rachel ever. My only physical aggression towards her was in response to her attacking me, sometimes repeatedly, or throwing things at me / hitting me with things. And I've been super clear about that a ton when I talked to you. And then you said, no, I said it because you made claims about the statistics and stuff. I'm not saying this was the case for you. Then I quote a few things that I said, and I said, you've literally said these things to me specifically, maybe more because the abuse sort of goes both ways. I quote that. And then you say, well, wait a second. How did the abuse not go both ways? Didn't you also victimize her emotionally? You said you were manipulative back then. And then I said my quote-unquote emotional abuse was being incredibly cold / detached. I'm sorry, do you think that excuses physical retaliation? And then you respond, that's actually...
Destiny just said that being cold and detached is abusive. But he denies that being abusive throughout this entire conversation, right? Wasn't that like Anna's claim with like the stonewalling and all that he's being like really cold and detached and dismissive? That's very weird.
Actually,
you completely deny someone's reality and expect them to respond with diplomacy. Or you cannot. Yeah, I agree.
The most damaging form of abuse. Didn't you know? That's dismissive kind of abuse. Obviously, it doesn't excuse it. I just understand how that could lead to physical abuse. Do you have any idea how absolutely fucking horrible that is? These are like I don't care because I don't give a fuck. And I think these conversations are hilarious because of how sociopathic you are. But if I was like a normal, well-adjusted human being, this would fuck with me a lot emotionally. Like if I cared like what you were saying about me, these are like some of the meanest, worst things you can say to somebody. Do you not understand that? Like you were minimizing my experiences to an unbelievable level and then trying to make excuses for somebody that was physically abusive towards me because I might have been detached or cold.
If I wasn't incredible, you're saying would destroy me. But I'm way above the pale, so I'm fine. But you're still a piece of shit because maybe I'm not incredible. That's what that's not. That's a very weird way to say that. Why can't he just say that it bothered me the way you said that? It seems like it's just like too. He's like trying to be too giga chatty here. Like if he actually has an issue, then he could just say like, "It hurt me when you said that like that." Otherwise, shut the fuck up. If it didn't hurt you, then shut up. Why are you making a big deal about it? Why are you complaining about it then? That's very weird to me.
Hold.
Steven, I was not excusing that.
I
There's
wasn't
no
bothered by it. It
excuse
didn't
for
hurt
that.
me,
I
but you're
even
still
told
bad
you
and wrong
that.
for doing it.
Of
Okay.
course not. No excuse for that.
All right.
But,
You
mean,
legit you just don't understand how people like interpret things. Like I interpret things very weirdly too. I do agree with that. But I think that my read here I think is pretty on track. I think that most people would read what I'm saying and they'd be like, yeah, I think that like Steven's interpretation is pretty fair. She's saying some really crazy aggressive shit that's like incredibly inappropriate and super fucking like judgmental, I think.
okay, well, why didn't you tell me that that's how you felt, Steven?
I am. We're arguing about it the entire time.
At the time, why didn't you tell me?
I'm
that's how
saying
you
my
felt?
next line here is after you say that's the most damaging, I say you're making really, really, really strong implications that it can excuse it. If someone is emotionally abusive, the correct response is to disengage and leave. It never justifies physically assaulting the other person ever. If someone walked up to me, what?
Hey, that's why I made sure to say like, no, I'm not excusing it, to make sure you knew. Like, yeah, I'm not excusing that.
Okay. Do you think I am misinterpreting and sound crazy here, Linus? I need a reality check real quick.
No. I think everything you're saying is pretty.
Okay, like most people would interpret
Pretty
this as being
spot
like
on, yeah.
huge attack. Like this is defending my abuser, saying that I was being emotionally
Yeah.
manipulative. You could understand why. Like
Yeah,
I understand why that guy
absolutely.
beat the shit out of you. Like you were being like really cold. Like yeah, okay, yeah, all right. I'm just making sure I'm not fucking insane.
Not at all what I was trying to imply. I was just trying to say that like we know that this tends to be like a cycle.
That's like you're like
I think
this is
the
like
main
saying that
point-
like when somebody rapes somebody, you're like, well, were you flirting with him? Like, well, I mean, like you probably could have been. Like you're literally victim blaming. That's literally what you're doing.
Okay.
Okay, well, I'm glad we agree.
I guess like you had told me that you were really emotionally abusive to her.
No, I didn't.
I could have sworn you did.
I might have hammed it up a bit, but my emotional abuse of my prior partners, and I've talked about this publicly, is that I can be very cold and very detached. That's my level of emotional abuse. I'm not like fucking like mind fucking them or trying to like, you know, like
Well,
manipulate them into doing crazy shit or trying to ruin their life. It's usually just that I get really cold and really detached.
Yeah, but that is really severe though. Like that is really severe.
It's not really severe. You don't know what really severe means.
Yeah, but that's what like the research shows.
No. In fact, I'll bet you $1 million that if we were to rank every single thing you could do to a person, being cold and detached is probably way down on the bottom of the list.
This isn't a reasonable line of argumentation.
It's
here.
way beneath things like physical abuse, murder, torture, rape, sexual assault, sexual
Okay. This is dumb.
violence, destroying people's possession. There's probably like I could probably off the top of my head think of 50
That doesn't
different
mean it's not
behaviors that
terrible.
rank way above being cold and detached.
And I'm not saying it is terrible,
Okay,
but this is
I'm just
a
saying
very
that, like, we
bad
do
way
know
to.
that has really severe
engage with
effects
it.
on people.
No, I don't think so. I don't think it has severe effects. It probably has negative effects, but not severe. No, I don't think so.
It
They're
is
just arguing over semantics.
very severe. That's why I was saying like, oh yeah, I can understand.
For
like,
some
how
people, it
things
probably is.
got to that. Like,
Okay,
that's-
if you say that being cold and detached is very severe, what would you call physical abuse?
well, that's
Also-
I mean, it. That's also very severe. Yeah. It's
So
just-
there's the
well, I
same.
guess-
These are on the same level to you.
Well, actually, I would say. I mean, it depends because we like there's literally ranking
Dumb.
like mild physical violence to like severe physical violence, such
Mhm.
as like being like bashing like a head, like someone's head against the wall, things like that. So
So you
But
think there are
generally-
some forms of physical abuse that are less severe than being cold and detached from somebody?
I'm not sure, but I do know that research shows that
This is-
most victims
I think this is bad. He's engaging this really poorly.
actually do say that the emotional abuse
Thing
is
is,
far
once
worse
Anna
than
realized this about him, she should have been gone. Fucking write an article.
physical abuse.
Wait. Does research not also say that victims of abuse often respond with emotional detachment? Is that not
no,
a normal response?
I'm going to need an article with some sources here.
do you
Oh.
want?
Oh.
Yeah, I can get you some.
Yeah.
Okay. You have to give me like a day or something though. It's like I
She
gotta
doesn't
go through
realize
a
Dan's
database
trolling
that-
her.
Yeah, no, seriously. This is a thing. And I remember learning this and thinking like, no, wait, what? No way. How could emotional abuse be considered worse than physical abuse?
Sometimes,
Pro tip,
depending
it's
on the
not,
person.
just in case you didn't know that. It's
Sometimes,
absolutely
depending on the
not.
person and depending on
It
the
is.
It's
kind.
absolutely not.
Violence agency.
Really? How many of those domestic violence victims came in? Oh my God! My life is horrible. My partner is cold and detached, and I have to leave the house.
This is
Like, come on, dude.
dishonest.
Really? These are the people that go. These are the people using my tax dollars when they go to DV shelters. Is because their husbands were cold and detached?
Dishonest argument.
There's no way. Come on, we
Why
both
they-
know this isn't true.
But Stephen, it is true that the majority of victims really do say that the emotional abuse is worse than the physical abuse.
Do you think
They
that's
really-
probably when it's in conjunction with physical abuse? Do you think there's probably a whole lot more going on there than just somebody being cold and detached? Do you think that this might be one of those psychology things, like all the other psychology things you talk about, that can't just be looked at as a discrete singular thing, but probably more a pattern of behavior across an entire relationship that doesn't stand on its own? That when somebody says the emotional abuse was worse than the physical abuse, they're probably talking about degrading or horrible things their spouse or partner said to them after beating the shit out of them?
No, it's actually like the covert psychological abuse, the coldness. Like, okay, so Lundy Bancroft even writes about it, about how
Why is this is a response to her saying somebody wrote about it? Like, I've seen Destiny engage in difficult conversations with nuance and all that. And I think that there's a lot of interesting things that come up here. And he's just, what's the word? Like, he keeps posturing so much that because I know who Destiny is, it just feels like dumb. It just feels really stupid that he's responding this way. Like, if he approaching 10K viewers, that's why he's getting more and more viewers because of how he's acting. This isn't how Destiny acts when he knows that he's like right and winning.
the worst
This is
form
just
of
for
abuser,
entertainment
and he literally identifies
for
as the
him.
worst form, is the one who
Well,
actually is very
Sorry, this is just him putting on a show for his audience.
calm
so I
and
should
cold
say.
and detached. He identifies that as the worst and most harmful abuser.
I
out
would
of
bet
all-
my life and the life of every viewer watching right now that any single, God forbid, I hope you didn't, but if you talk to any domestic violence woman that had the shit beat out of her by her husband, she would have traded that husband in a million times over for a cold and detached man. Guaranteed. But I mean, maybe I'm just too old fashioned and I'm not looking at the research, I guess.
This is
I
a
don't know.
pro monogamy stream.
I mean, I'll send it to you. I'll send
That's
you
pretty
it.
good.
And
Sure.
that's why I was like, oh wow, like I can really understand, because I know how bad that is. It's considered torture.
What he's talking about is so much more complicated than that too. A lot of times when people are in physically abusive relationships, the reason why that they stay in physically abusive relationships is because they value what they perceive to be emotionally substantive relationships. He hits me because he loves me. I fucked up. No, he was right to do that because of the emotionality there. So it's not as one-dimensional as he's making it out to be. The justification for them not leaving is because they perceive the relationship to be emotionally good.
Torture. Like emotional torture. Yeah.
For you.
Like that's what I mean. I feel like yes, I understand that it looks horrible, but then this is what I mean. Like I have to explain like the context more.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I think we're drawing to the close.
Okay.
Do you have any final parting thoughts or words?
I guess not.
And these are the real parting words.
Okay,
No additional conversations, no memes,
Thanks, Dan.
right? I'm just being
Yeah.
clear because I don't think everyone has it on the same page here. You get what this is, right, Anna? This is the end of the road. The right-click block.
Yeah.
This should have also
Yep, I know.
been. This probably
I
should have
don't- I
been
don't
more directed
understand
at
why you're
Destiny,
acting
to
like
be
this is
honest.
So hard.
Given what
or
we know
something.
now.
Because
Like,
I've been down this road a few times before. And it always comes back.
okay. Yeah. I mean, all right. Yeah. Okay. I'm not going to be able to convince you guys that he's actually abusive. So. Okay.
All right. Well, listen, I'm going to play you off.
Stop. All right. Thank you. Thanks for coming on and talking. Okay.
Wait, who
I
left?
appreciate
Was
the
it Anna
final
or Dan?
conversation.
Yeah, thanks.
Dana?
Okay.
Yep.
Oh wait, can I just ask? Like, are you, uh, you're,
Out with it, woman.
are you, like,
Oh my god.
you're not gonna like leak any more
Nope, we're
DMs?
done talking. We're
Okay.
good. It's all
You
over.
were just doing that and stuff.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
All right. Have fun. Be careful. Stay safe.
Bye. You
Bye.
too.
I thought that went well. We got a lot accomplished.
This is one of the most irresponsible things I have committed. Malpractice against humankind. I'm so sorry.
Oh,
We learn from our
I
mistakes.
actually
We'll
thought he
take
was
our
going to say
information
that it
going
was
forward.
irresponsible of him to do this, but
Only grow.
he was making a joke.
You didn't even get your battery back. Why were you talking about everything and not getting your battery back? What the fuck's wrong with
Why
you?
would you bring that up? God,
Why would you not bring it up?
fucking
Wait, how
cringe.
big is this battery?
It's a
It's a
20,000
USB-C too.
milliamp USB-C and 3-prong laptop.
That's like
Ooh.
$40, dude.
Well, no, he said
is like-
3-prong.
It's not bad.
Yeah, it was a
Whoa,
3-prong.
more than that.
It was like a $100
3-prong.
battery pack. yeah.
That has a 110 volt charger on it.
110 volt? That's a
Yep.
premium battery.
Well,
It
no,
is.
because all of the razor laptops and everything are 180 volts, so it wouldn't actually work with any of my fucking appliances. So, fuck your
I
battery.
know you don't
down.
normally do like donation goals on stream, but you might want to do one for the battery. 'cause
Shut
That's
the
a,
fuck up.
that's a loss, man.
Dumb.
Oh my god.
That may have been some of my finest work this year.
Dan, you are literal cringe.
I think I made that quite enjoyable for everyone around.
I was laughing. You know, Dan, you're not normally someone to make me laugh, but I was having myself a chuckle.
Thank you. S-Fan, what are you doing in here? Are you
What's up,
a fellow consumer of drama as well, sir?
I was just wondering what you guys were up to.
Oh, we were
We're just chatting. Mizkif hosting on a second channel. Oh,
Did Anna stay going?
I noticed you talking shit on my creep spread earlier.
Yeah, it was
Did you-
terrible, dude.
Wait,
Everyone.
Off. It's not very good. It's 50.
Okay. So that part's over. So one of the things I wanted to talk about, I don't know what that was. One of the things I wanted to talk about, now that that's over with, Jesus Christ, that was tough to deal with. Is somehow there is competitive checkers, like, one minute. Was unbearable, yeah. What's the name? Yeah, English draughts, they also call it. Like, I shit you not. There's a world championship of checkers as well, which to me is batshit crazy. Because, if you don't know, checkers is a solved game. Competitive Uno would be weird. Like, it's solved. There are so few moves to be made in a game of checkers. And there's so few options of moves that you can make that I just can't wrap my brain around it. Like, has checkers been solved? Okay, well, the answer is yes. Checkers has been solved. There is a absolutely correct move in any given situation, and in order to remedy this, in some checkers tournaments, there is there's like two different formats in competitive checkers. There is what do they call it? Like the regular way that you'd play is like play as you go or something like that. And then there is another version where you can choose your first 3 moves based off of you get like 3 options of randomly generated sequences, and you have to pick from those 3. But even still, there are there's so few moves to be made that I think that anybody who has like if you how much can you really study before like you just get it? Where is it at? Was it the Rapid and Blitz games? I don't know about that. But like, look at how simple this game is. Like, you're gonna go. You have 4 choices of opening moves. They have a choice of 4 opening moves. You can force people to capture you. That's like a trick you can do, I guess. And like, other than that, there's just like not a lot there. Like, no other competitive game is this limited to the move sets, and I can't wrap my head around it. There's like local tournaments that have like up to like $500 for prizes. It's on Wiki page. Sure, in theory, there's like a ton of different positions, but how many of those are actually going to come up in a game? Like, those are ones that, like, the vast majority, almost all of those positions are positions you'd have to force. Yep, 500 billion possible positions. Sure, but then if you look at like the possible number of chess games are so huge that no one will invest the effort to calculate the exact number. And then my favorite game, there's the most commonly quoted number of possible games, 10 to the 700th power, is derived from the simple permutation of 361 moves, which is than that, which actually would mean that there's no capturing. So when we're talking about like competitive games, that number seems huge, but it's really not. It's actually pretty small. Yeah, 500 quintillion. I mean, made over the course of a game of checkers.
I absolutely don't.
I love you. Thank you. Chinook been competing checkers championships for years. It battled humans in 1990. A computer from 1994 beat humans. Even that seems ridiculous to me. Like, it should just be a draw. Like, am I alone in thinking that this game should be way too easy? Oh, wait a minute. English. International. There's an extra row. That makes it a bit more interesting. International checkers rules, international draws. Yeah, that makes it significantly more interesting to me, having another row, but still. It just, your options are so limited on any given turn. Well, I mean, technically, there's an infinite number of moves in a game of checkers because you just have 4 kings constantly moving around the board without ever like getting into a position where they could get captured. So the number of variations really isn't that impressive. It's probably the same but easier. In chess, all 7 men games are solved, but no one masters them. Strong players make serious errors in very simple positions. Might be the same in checkers. I mean, 7-piece endgames. The difference in chess is that in chess, different pieces have like different abilities. Essentially, they have different capacities to make moves than other pieces do. In checkers, every piece is the same. Now, but this is also with a very simple, and the movements are also very simple. The rules are very simple and straightforward, and there's not a lot of complexity to be had from the movements. You take a game like Go, where everything is like overwhelmingly simple. All pieces, no matter what, there's not even kinging. You can't king or anything. Are extremely simple. The layout of the board is extremely simple. However, the implications of situations that arise from this are extraordinarily complex. Like it took like machine learning in order for computers to be able to beat professional Go players. And it was considered to be like one of the biggest breakthroughs in AI like ever. It was global headlines that computers could beat somebody in Go. So like the simplicity of a game doesn't necessarily make it not complex, but checkers feels to me like it's just simple. I'm a Stratego fan. I like Stratego too. That's fun. So I think over the next week, I'm gonna look at this off stream. And I'm gonna look up online and see like what kind of competitions there are available, and I'm gonna play in a competitive checkers game to challenge my notion that this game should be very simple, and with just like minimal amount of effort and studying, you should be able to compete like at a competitive level. And so I wanted to talk about why I think that, and like sort of put it out there publicly. So if I'm wrong, make fun of me for it. But I really think it's got to be like really, really simple. Like it can't be that complicated. So I've already been going for 3 hours. That's crazy. I'm gonna pawn endgames in chess can be very complex. And they all move in the same manner. Although in every pawn game, there's also the king, which has some kind of movement. There's a difference there though, in that a pawn has the ability to become a queen. This adds a whole nother layer of complexity to it. So yeah, you do have the king, which can interfere with the pawns. Because like a pawn can't ever like go backwards or anything like that. But a king can help strengthen a pawn's movement and all that, which adds another layer of complexity. But the fact that the first person to get a pawn to the other side then gets a queen makes all the calculated movements of the pawns more important. It adds more impact to each move that a pawn makes. Checkers, you get a king, it's still, I don't know, it just doesn't seem like it to me. This might be a limitation on my ability to imagine like some hidden complexity to this game, but I'm gonna try to figure it out. I at some point I'm gonna do at least one checkers stream to like kind of show where I'm at and what I'm thinking about it after playing it for a couple days. But like I guess there's no way to put it. It just feels so fucking stupid that this is a competitive game. Like I intuitively felt like we had to have solved it. It feels just a little bit less stupid than the idea of competitive tic-tac-toe to me. Like we just have to have had it figured out. And I don't know if I just have my perception warped because I like games like Go and games like Magic, which are like exceptionally complex. I think that the fact that there's no luck involved in checkers Also removes a layer of complexity from it. Like Go is a game of perfect skill. Checkers is a game of perfect skill. Chess is a game of perfect skill. There's no luck. There's no hidden information at any point during these games. Go is very intuitive. That's a confusing statement. So kind of. Like, I feel like if Go didn't exist, it eventually would. Like, the game itself is an intuitive game to create. Like, it's been said before that if there's intelligent life on other planets, they play Go. Because it's like a game that would just, like, naturally be arrived at. That's why it's like a 5,000-year-old game. We were able to come up with it that long ago. And if we didn't, eventually at some point in our history, we would have invented Go. It might exist on like a different size board than like a 19 by 19, but like the idea of the game itself is, I think, rather intuitive. What isn't intuitive is like the situations that can arise from it and how they get resolved and all that. And also, I think that like a Go board that's been played on, it's always so pretty. I love it. That's why my anime tattoo, they're holding Go stones. I always wanted a tattoo that represent Go in some way, but it would just be a little awkward if it was just like Go. So Hint needed a way to incorporate it. I don't like Othello. I don't like Othello because my buddy who is makes really poor decisions. He's just like a dumb guy. I love him, but he always beats me in it and it makes me mad. So yeah, I'm gonna try to figure checkers out. I feel like I should be able to, within a week's time, be able to play competitively because it's just such a it's like too simple. And if not, then my reward for being wrong will be having a newfound respect for the game. I don't think that's going to be the case, but maybe. Jujutsu Kaisen new season is great, by the way. I haven't watched it. I watched some of it with my wife, but I've read past where it's at. But I do plan on watching it. They do a really good job with the animation in general. Did you see the movie? I really liked the movie. If you haven't seen the movie, it's out on Crunchyroll. And Cat Dog Bark, if you don't have Crunchyroll and you haven't seen the movie, let me know. And I have Crunchyroll. Well, I have my friend's Crunchyroll. I'll watch it with you in Discord if you want. Oh yeah, just hit me up whenever you want. I'll fire it up on Discord and we can watch it. I'm gonna wrap this for now. I gotta figure out where I'm gonna go from here with the Mr. Girl Destiny streams. I gotta figure out which the next part is that I wanted to go over. And my wife's about to go to bed. So I just wanted to like I definitely stretch out my back by just laying out for a bit. Just like I don't know, like cuddle my wife and shit 'cause she's tired. I get bored later. I might pop on stream and do something less interesting than normal stuff, but probably not. I'll probably just stream a bit longer tomorrow than I did today. But yeah, my challenge to the game of checkers is out there publicly now. And I actually do hope that I'm wrong. I would like to have a newfound respect for the game. Yeah, good night. Thanks for being here for the stream, buddy.